Howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition D&D campaign. It's been a second since we've actually played a core session of our campaign, so I'll catch you up on that in just a second. Last week, instead of playing our regular kind of campaign, we played a one-shot set in canon to Adventures in Alberon, which is the Danby Irregulars, set in Monster Island. There was a Griffin airdrop, there was Toot Butts. There was the invention of the mystical creature, the Pitagar, which is half pigeon, half cougar, just a different variation on the griffin. So all of that stuff is now up on YouTube, which is Alberon RPG on YouTube. Also, we have just a couple of announcements this week before we get started and do our recap. Next week, which is the 9th, we are not going to be having session 85 of Adventures in Alberon, but we will instead be returning to a side quest that we started a long time ago. We're going to be having Kobe Quest 2, where everybody's going to retake the mantle of their kobold character. Guest player Michael will be rejoining us, and we will be continuing the adventures of the I think you guys were the Blacktooth Pack. I can't remember exactly what you guys were called, but the little kobold band that is after the single kobold that Morwen abducted early in the game and then set free promptly after. So that will be next week. Level 7 kobold characters. It's always a fun time. And guest player Michael will be rejoining us. After that, we will be having a 4-part mini campaign with guest player Drew from Dicey Encounters, which will be called Bloodroot. That's going to begin the week after next. It is set in Dungannon, the city on the opposite coast of the city or the continent of Dominion. It is where Morwen hails from. It is where Akka sort of hails from. It's a place we haven't gotten to too much. Those of you who watched last week got to see just a glimpse of the Picket Hill neighborhood in Dungannon, but you'll get to see a little bit more. We might revisit some old characters, so check that out. That's going to start next week, I believe. No, sorry, the week after that. So, session 85 of Adventures in Alberon will be Friday, August 6th, barring any complications, but the next 4 sessions after next week are all going to be a mini campaign called Bloodroot that is set in canon and alongside the events of this campaign. It is going to have a very heavy impact on Adventures in Alberon, so definitely check that out. And then finally, or second to finally, we have an Instagram and a Twitter at Alberon RPG. There's a lot of maps and miniatures and various things that are part of this campaign. Definitely, if you want to see them, they are posted in Twitch chat by Ali, but the close-ups and a little bit more of the information on the creation and utilization of those things you can find on Instagram at Alberon RPG. And then finally, the actual last announcement is we have this program called Sirenscape, which is where you're hearing this music from. The music you're currently hearing is our theme song that is not available on Sirenscape, but the dragon sounds and the other music, the sound of wind and trees and little goblins shrieking, all of that can be yours with Sirenscape. So check that out. And with that, that is the last thing that I have for our announcements. Let me jump into our recap. All right. Finger Gang, last we played, you all found yourselves within Kol Arista, the Cold Forge, this long-lost dwarven citadel, and the site of a sort of rupture between the elemental planes of fire and ice and the material plane that Alberon itself exists on. This place is rumored to be incredibly powerful, and a place that you might be able to recraft damaged magical artifacts, such as the Breaker, one of 3 artifacts needed to recreate the Staff of Twisted Fates, which you imagine might help you in this upcoming battle or this world-changing event that seems to be approaching, with the movement of the Ninth Path to Calypsos, possibly to form an alliance with Azra, the goddess of Rot, and Heinrich, your former patron. You use some of the clues upon the entry stone to solve this puzzle. Akka, Heinrich, you two doing the heavy lifting there, but you managed to open the door ahead. Staying just ahead of the pursuing Duragar forces, now chasing you after Having a fairly violent confrontation with the first guards that you came across, you found your way into a room thick with dark smoke that seemed to have smoked the ice into an opaque shade in this frozen room. Quickly, you were able to discern that there were strange pathways of curved ice designed to force those who slipped to topple into an even nastier obstacle, kind of obscured by the smoke. You made your way through and into a checkpoint, similar to the one that you had just fought Duragar at, although this appeared to be empty. You could see as you entered these two rectangular trenches beneath the actual rupture into the plane of fire itself, roiling beneath. You could see elemental fire just burning and seeming to collapse into the earth itself. You made your way to the beginnings of these barred doors, and Morwen, you quickly picked the locks of a pair of these barred doors designed to be almost like a holding point between two sections of this checkpoint. You found yourselves on the other side confronted with something a little bit more secure, and there was no lock or key to be found. And as you hunted for a switch, Kuthar, one of the Thuldor, those who endure, the rulers of these gray dwarves, arrived behind you with two of the Duragar despots, these sort of martial arts inclined gray dwarves. You began your fight with Shay opening the door to the chamber beyond to reveal Arconum and Valchrysix, the uh, black scale dragonborn that seems to be able to maybe help you recreate the breaker, this artifact that you seek to recreate. You fought against an overwhelming force, with Morwen being turned into statue by an unlucky prismatic ray from Kuthar, and the rest of the group, sans Shay, being dropped unconscious beneath the mighty onslaught of the Eater of Cold Fire, Arconum himself. But a mist blast of energy from Arconum howled past Shay, striking the Cold Forge itself, causing a cataclysmic chain reaction to begin. And as the stones rained down around you, with Morwen a statue, and the rest of you unconscious or badly hurt, tonight we're going to begin in the dark. Give me just 1 second here. Morwen, we're going to begin with you. Just 1 second here. Okay. Man, I pulled up all this music right before, and now I can't find it.
Did you check Sirenscape?
The digital tool set for dungeon masters who are trying to create a more immersive setting? You know, I didn't. So there it is. Morwen, we'll start with you. You find yourself ensconced in total darkness, this warm, forever blanket of black, velvety comfort. And then suddenly it is broken by faint pulses of deep gray. Slowly they grow louder. Here and there you can hear rumbling like thunder. As it grows louder, it also grows clearer. And it goes from this rumble of bass like thunder to almost words obscured, as if through many layers of thick blankets, maybe feet upon feet of dirt, or fathom upon fathom of water. But slowly, each word growing a little bit clearer, the light growing a little bit brighter, and suddenly a shimmering image materializes. It's like being underwater and turning to look up. The image swims with a strange, foggy quality, as though through a smudged liquid glass. You see two figures, seeming to almost try to peer back at you, Morwen. You see one, an elf, with a half cloak composed of individually sewn leaves that have been layered on top of each other, one on top of the next to form sort of almost a quilt. She wears dark brown leather armor that draws up into gloves that extend to mid forearm. You can see damage to this glove, almost as if to protect against errant bowstrings. The elf next to her, different, the skin almost silver. You can see that she wears this 4-layered robe that opens down the front to reveal each layer transitioning from an exterior of storm cloud gray to this inner, almost like a soft muted lilac. Her silvery hair is braided in long strands that curl together almost like fingers lacing behind her head. Small glass beads. As she turns her head and the light dances across them, you can see or hear almost ethereal notes as the light glints. She has violet eyes that look sadly at her companion, flecked with gold. You can see in the crook of her arm a knotted staff. Morwen, you've seen a staff similar to this before. You saw it held by Era, one of the monks that Shay views almost as a mother. The elves are quiet for a moment, and then you hear the one clad in silver speak. I do not know this companion as you do. You must choose. Morwen, you can see this elf, the wood elf, looking into this water. And as you peer up, you feel very much almost as if she can see you. The eyes trace back and forth across. But she's quiet. Are you doing anything?
Do I feel like I have any movement?
What do you do to try to find out?
Well, so you said I'm like underwater in dark?
It feels kind of like it, yeah.
All right, then I'm gonna try to get to the surface.
Okay. You move your arms in front of you, but as you do, you feel no resistance and you don't see anything. You don't feel movement. A couple more seconds pass, and this elf puts a hand on the shoulder of the wood elf in front of her. We've lost much, haven't we? And you could see the wood elf sigh and shake her head slowly, yes. The silver-haired elf looks forward and says, perhaps today we don't need to lose anymore. Go ahead. We'll find another way. And slowly you can see the wood elf lean forward. And Morwen, you see Eowyn's delicate hand break the surface of this image. The skin, as it crosses into darkness, seems to shimmer with a golden, ethereal quality, and you feel warmth radiate off this hand. What do you do?
So I recognize who she is, right?
Make an intelligence check.
Oh, you know I'm dumb. All right.
What was it?
A 3.
As you look at this face, distorted, as the hand pierces through this image, it shimmers like water and the face is obscured a little bit and you can't quite recall who it is. But behind, you can see that she is surrounded by these stones, a little bit blurry. And the trees behind her, these ancient trees that do seem somewhat familiar.
I definitely grab her hand. Sorry.
Okay, sure.
Didn't mean to interrupt.
You reach forward, and this time you do feel movement. But as your hand crosses in front of your eyes, all you see is a large black paw, like that of a panther. And as you reach out and this warmth grows warmer, the light grows brighter until all of a sudden it is blinding. For the rest of you, all of a sudden, give me just one moment. Why not? Oh, that's not the one I thought it was. We'll go with this. For all the rest of you, as this is going on, you can see suddenly the statue of Morwen, for those of you who are still conscious, begins to crack, and a brilliant amber light begins to radiate from these cracks. The first thing that breaks around the chest, there is this little golden sort of pennant that shines with this interior amber light. But slowly, as these seams appear, the light begins to break through and almost raise, and the heat becomes unbearable. And for a moment, time seems to freeze. Shay, I believe you're the only person who is currently still conscious. And so, who's still conscious?
Heinrich. Everyone but me.
Everyone but you and Morwen, technically. So, Heinrich and Shay. For the two of you, time seems to freeze. And Heinrich, as you lift your gold and black eyes up, and it seems like it takes forever, you see a single small piece of rock suspended in the air begin to float backwards. back towards the Cold Forge. And suddenly, in a blur, time begins to rush. The Dragonborn that you saw ragdolled by this explosion lifts eerily to his feet as the tools back onto the table, now righted. Things become a blur from a mechanical standpoint. Um, Everybody, with the exception of Morwen, can mark off a long rest.
Hey.
Morwen,
What?
you can put yourself at half health.
What?
Give me a second.
Do we just
a
get Deus
second
Ex?
here.
Half of what I am currently.
Half your max.
Half your
I'm
max,
about
yes.
that right now.
So perfect. You can stay at that, but you are now conscious. Give me just one moment.
You're like 4 points below your half.
Suddenly, you can hear this very familiar to all of you as the cold seems to dissipate somewhat and the smoke floods into the room. But looking behind you, you see the two-tiered room, long and stretched out. These two large, almost blade-like banisters running across the course. You can see there are two doors set on either side behind you. This is the room that Akka, you had just set these three icons into. And turning back in front of you, there is a room with dark smoke that seems to billow out sourcelessly. The floor is very slick. And all of you are suddenly aware that it seems as if you have been pulled back in time.
So what the fuck?
We're still aware of that fact?
Am
Yes. You
no
still
longer-
have full memory of everything that has occurred. Morwen, you remember this dream that you just had. And on your hand, you feel this warmth. You feel fingers. This kind of ghostly after feel of
No, I'm just
something. But it is, you are now in this room of smoke and ice. The ice itself almost stained from the smoke that seems to billow sourcelessly. You can see ice on the ground. But what would you like to do?
Am I no longer unconscious too?
You are no longer unconscious. So all of you have kind of regained some level of health. Yeah.
So are we gonna talk about this, or do we just keep moving forward?
What just happened? How did you do that?
What?
I don't think I
Did we-
did.
Hold on. Like, looking around the room, does everything look like actually the last we remember it, just passing through it?
Make a perception check.
Like, is it safe to assume, I guess, following this roll, that we're still being pursued? I mean, I'm not playing that cleric I played last week. It's a 5.
You look around and with the smoke kind of billowing through, it's difficult to tell, but Shay, you definitely hear. And it's weird because there's this almost violent feeling of deja vu that pulls you back in time. You can hear movement in the room beyond, as if this door finally opened. And yes, it does feel like you're being pursued.
I think we should hide.
What?
Yes.
What happened?
Hide
I
first.
don't really want to.
Yeah, how do we hide? Where can we hide to let them pass us?
Do that invisible thing you do.
Oh my god. Do I feel like I have the ability? I know that you totally we had a long rest, but
You feel as if you, and being very familiar with the way that your magic works at this point,
right.
you
That
feel
wellspring is a little more empowered
Absolutely.
again. Okay. I'd be like, all right, guys, against the walls, just fucking hide. And if they seem to see us, because we know that crazy magic lady, probably, maybe, who knows, get ready to attack. But and then I just cast invisibility on all of us.
all right.
And if you guys
So-
let me turn to stone again, I swear to God, I'll chuck rocks at you.
And as you look over and you see Morwen's eyes in the darkness saying that, suddenly
We'll talk
you
about
all
this
just
later.
vanish.
Shh. As I'm doing this, like, shh, just like face disappears.
Yeah.
What happened?
And so I'm still very confused, Akka. In the dark, all of you now feel very invisible. You stand kind of in this doorway. You've been in this place before, and you would imagine the layout has not changed. So knowing, just as a quick recap, because in real life it's been a couple weeks. 1 second here. You would remember that straight ahead, there is that kind of curve of ice that goes to the right. and it seems as if it almost pulls you into a section of ice that seems to glow a little bit. Something you would remember had an evocation magic feel to that. Straight ahead, you know that beyond this kind of curved ice, there's another chunk in which something seemed to be frozen. And you all imagine that touching that something probably not a great idea. And then you guys didn't delve too far to the left side, but you do remember that. Where are you all hiding?
Can we go back into the previous room and just like go to the sides on the other side of the door?
You sure can.
Yeah. Just like make it look like we did go through there and then just let them pass us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say that out loud, suggesting that so that people don't split up.
You feel Shay's hand on the side of your, or on your shoulder.
Yeah.
So as a group, are you guys making your way and just trying to hide in there? So roll a stealth check at
Previous
advantage
room.
because you are invisible.
I'm just still like, what the
Make it
fuck
start.
just happened? I was dying. Ooh, natural 20.
17.
17, all right. Natural 20, very nice.
21.
Nice.
27.
Damn. Okay. So invisibility doing what it's supposed to do. You all just kind of just float into the other room and drift up
Oh,
one of
wait.
the staircases.
That was at advantage.
Yes.
So my first roll is because I have disadvantage because of the armor, so it negates.
Ah.
The first roll was higher, which is 20. So 16. Sorry, 19.
Yeah.
19.
Same,
19.
actually. Second roll was a natural 20.
Yeah.
So
I keep forgetting.
you are invisible, and you walk into this other room very quietly, and just kind of stand off to the sides. Are you guys going to the same side? Presumably, you're
I
all in
think I probably
contact.
reached
so-
out a hand. I'm touching someone. I'm following whoever I'm touching.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
the
then yes,
moment-
it seems.
We're all just like,
Yeah, you guys are all touching Heinrich and just kind of drifting with him off to the side. Second here. Okay. A couple of minutes pass, and Shay, for you, you're the first one to kind of hear voices. You hear the excitable voice of Kuthar just kind of saying something still blocked out from beyond by this kind of space in the other room, but you can hear the far door open. You hear, and you're like, yeah, you guys are hiding, so you can actually see this. You can see within the room, maybe like 50 feet away, the door open, a little bit of light shine through. And as the door opens, the light comes in, it spills across this pile of corpses, all still letting out just a little bit of steam. But as soon as the light touches, you just hear this kind of exclamation, and it shuts. Are you guys doing anything?
So they just backtracked?
It seems as if they saw the bodies and just slammed the door shut.
I'm not saying anything and waiting this out for a second.
Jay, see if you can detect what's going on the other side of the door over there. See if they're retreating to find more people.
All right. I will attempt to find out.
Okay, so Shay, let's go. Crosses over towards the door. Make a perception check, Shay. It's not a very high DC. They have no idea where you are.
28.
You beat it.
28. Very well. So you can hear, you kind of come in medias res, but you get most of the conversation. And what you hear is Kuthar, the very excitable voice, just saying, I don't really think we have time for that, but if you really, and then you can hear the other voice put in, listen, I understand that you're in a rush to get back, but they've proven themselves to be very dangerous, so just freeze them out. And you hear the exasperated, fine, just lock the door. And suddenly, Shay, are you doing anything with any of this?
Is the door unlocked? Like, does it feel like the knob turns, or is there a knob?
You kind of reach forwards and just very gently, and with that previous stealth check, it does ever so slightly depress, and you would imagine it is not locked. Neither of the doors leading to this kind of long room are locked at the moment. On the other side of the door, you do hear heavy metal footsteps seeming to cross to the other side in the direction of the lever that I believe you actually had switched to open the door in the first place.
I'll back up and tell Heinrich what I heard.
All right. Okay. I mean, like, this is all very as quietly as we can be talking. Just
Yeah,
if it's not obvious. But-
yeah. I figured.
Okay. So,
What's
they're
happening?
not coming this time. This time, we're doing this again. Am I crazy? Are we doing this again?
Seems like it.
I've had deja vu,
Okay,
but
but can we do it differently this time?
well, it seems like it's different already if they're not approaching.
Yeah, but it's just like what I really meant it. What I said. Like if I turn to
Did
stone
she
again.
say she was gonna freeze us out?
I think they think this room is active or something. I mean, either way, we know how to get through to the other side.
Do it.
Do what?
Get us to the other side.
Suddenly, at this point, you can see the door on the far side with the smoke billowing through suddenly begins to swing slowly shut. Shay, the door that you were kind of near, I mean, you did have to walk back to talk to Heinrich, but with your passive perception, you hear the locking mechanism on that door and just close. This door begins on the other side to swing closed. What would you guys like to do?
Okay, yeah, let's now get through this door. Okay, go to the
Yeah.
ice.
Go.
Going
I'm gonna get the pythons out like last time so that I don't slide through.
Okay.
And I'll be the first bulwark and just like python down and like kind of hunch, be like, all right, everyone, just like push off of me so we don't slide into those glyphs.
Oh,
Or like
that's a
hang
good
on to
one.
me.
I like that. So Heinrich puts the pythons into the ice. At this point, all of you just kind of sliding into the door. Are you grabbing onto Heinrich?
I'm just gonna float again
Okay.
over the whole thing.
Aka lifts off. Not that any of you can see, but you would feel Shay Morwen kind of in some way make contact, and
And I'd just be like, I'm good.
Okay, good, right.
the door shuts. Shay, you hear a very, very thin whine, and you would imagine the temperature is dropping in there again. Make an intelligence. Whatever. It's been several weeks, so just for your remembrance, you did hear the sound previous when you had left. You'd imagine that this is probably why it took Kuthar so long to get there in the first place. When you guys unlocked the doors previously, was because they were freezing this room in case you were in there prior. So you have a rough idea as to how much time you have until they come through.
Okay,
For what it's worth.
perfect. And let's make our way through to without having with as minimal danger as possible, right? Knowing the layout of the room. 'Cause we
Shay, are
just
you putting
passed
on
through not
the,
too long
the
ago.
mask? Okay.
Yes.
So with the mask on, you can see the smoke, and you can see about 10 feet in front of you, but still pretty dark. This place is fairly obscured. You do know the layout, and so if you guys would like, you can certainly just push off of Heinrich, and using that angle can kind of diagonally glide most of the way there. At the end, it is going to be a acrobatics or athletics check or save rather, or check save. It's been a couple weeks. Athletics or acrobatics check to not collide with that kind of ice that seems to be encasing a creature of some kind.
Mhm.
I will
You can
do
certainly do it.
acrobatics.
There you go.
Myself
Can I just
personally.
can I just fly through?
You can fly through. Yeah, Aka, you're fine.
Yay.
31 for me.
Yeah, okay.
24 acrobatics.
24. Okay. So Shay, without too much trouble and being invisible and also just kind of being you, there's not a ton of style that you feel like you need to put into it. It's form over function. You put your foot against Heinrich's shoulder and you just push off straight across. You feel the smoke whiz by you, and then you just kind of come to a stop on the other side. You can see this doorway in front of you. Very easy and very well done. You at the very end have to slide through like 3 sections of ice that come up, and you just have to like turn your shoulders ever so slightly to slide through, but no problem. Morwen, for you, if you would like, you can do it in whatever style you would like. That's a high ass roll. You are invincible, so nobody can see this, but however you would like to go through, you certainly can.
I'm not clever enough to think of anything, but it's real showboaty, and I'm real proud of it.
Just
Yeah, so
cartwheel.
it's
Just
spinning
cartwheel the whole way.
around. Yeah, this is like an ice skating, like a ice skating competition kind of run.
Did you guys see that?
No.
No.
You never do.
No.
You never do.
You're
see
too
the
sneaky.
chest.
But you
All
make
right.
it across and kind of almost kind of bump into Shay. You glide in with enough grace so that you just come in and your foot touches Shay and you know where she is, but you don't collide.
And
Aka, you float through without any issue.
I'm gonna pull the pythons up and then just sort of kick off the wall using brute force and therefore athletics.
Yeah, go for it.
And that was a 26. A 22,
Okay.
22.
Okay.
There's
So
no way I can
you-
roll that high.
You crouch.
Actually,
you crouch.
No,
I think you
technically.
could. I think you
it's
could.
the maximum, actually.
Yeah. So you kick off, bending your legs. The belt of stone giant strength. The gelt is just it's a
Gelt
denim,
stone giant strength, yeah.
It's a denim belt with the stone giant buckle in the middle.
Gelt.
Oh god, I gotta write that down. That's gonna be an item. Hang on.
Gelt of bone giant strength.
Of bone giant strength. Okay, so the belt seems to almost pulse, and you can hear that dim kind of almost stone giant chant, and then you almost explode off this wall. Zing! It's the sound of like a bobsled, basically. You go through, and with the kind of size of your armor, you do touch two little ice things, but much like a bobsled, it just kind of stabilizes you, and you coast into the ice underneath Aka.
I'm gonna
you hear it. but
do
you
this
not-
position too. I crouch into this position. I'm just like
like
yeah,
you're
no one can
downhill.
see it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure. So yeah, sure. You kneel forward, putting all the weight in the balls of your feet, and you can feel yourself accelerate ever so slightly. But you cruise in no problem. All of you drifting through the smoke in a much quicker fashion than the previous trip through. You find yourself on the other end of this room. Ice kind of surrounding you, although it is smoked and kind of black and opaque. You do know that on the other side of this door, there is this other checkpoint that you had traveled through previously. This is the smallest one. It has those two moat-like structures that lead into the place where the elemental ice and fire swirl together underneath. What do you want to do?
Proceed through, assuming that there's nothing on the other side. There wasn't last time.
Yep. And so, kind of poking your head through, you can just kind of hear the fire underneath, and you can see the barred doors in front of you, the stonework around, and it looks exactly as it did before.
All right, Morwen, you're up. I just wait. I don't know where she is. I turn over to like where she would normally be, and I'm like, right, you're up. You know where it is.
You feel Morwen bump into you from behind as she does that, but yeah, you say that.
Let's use this invisibility and get the drop on the dude inside, whatever his name was. I forgot it was already. Not.
I don't know if we learned it.
No, we did well long ago. The Eater of Cold Fire.
Arcanum.
Arcanum, the Eater of Cold Fire, and then Xanathar. No, I'm never gonna remember the Dragonborn's name.
Xanathar is he's the beholder that's in charge of the Thieves Guild.
Xanadu.
Valthraxis.
I like Xanadu. Xanadu's good. It's Valchrysix.
Valchrysix.
Yeah.
All right, I was close, but also way off.
Zoltan. Or what's in Galaxy Quest? What is the cult? You know,
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Isn't that it? Isn't?
I just remember they do this. This is the sign.
Yeah. I think
Anyways.
it's Zoltar. I don't know,
Whatever. Anyways, so all of you now can kind of make your way into this checkpoint if you want. Your feet finding stone instead of ice. The heat here noticeably different, and you can hear the fire roaring underneath.
We should.
I think we just bust in, use this invisibility, catch. I already forgot it. Arcanum off guard. Close the door behind us and just like shove him into the lava or something,
Works for me.
and then save Valchrysix. Just
Okay,
move
and then
quickly,
they
move
arrive.
forward, and just surprise the shit out of him, and close the door behind us. So that
Literally.
maybe, who cares?
That's disgusting.
You won't be able to smell it. It'll burn up before it hits your nose.
Yeah.
It's an unpleasant thought.
Right though, like we don't want to get
I
like
think we need to take
we don't want to
care-
get this again. We don't want to get this again.
we
We'd
need
rather
to
go
take
get
care
in
of
there,
our
close
column
the door.
first. And
Huh?
if we can do that, then I can alter myself to look like him for when they come, and you can hide,
Bingo,
and then we can
bango.
ambush her.
In my mind, you guys are all
Wait,
facing
Shay,
the wrong way as you
Shay,
have
what
this
were you saying?
conversation.
Yeah, I'm
too.
talking to a wall.
Yeah. Wait,
Well, you're flying, so you're just talking to the air.
Shay, I think you're still muted.
I land at this
Or Tina.
point so that I can talk to the wall.
Let's take care of him first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's get in there and get that done as quickly as possible.
All right,
Good.
let's
Great.
move.
All right,
Morwen.
once the
Morwen, door.
lady saying I'm a little gun shy.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, cool. I'll push the guy into the lava. Make him a flaming hot Cheeto.
Perfect.
Okay. I go
Cheetos
and-
being a snack
I
in
go
Dungannon,
in-
of course.
I go invent the Cheeto.
Okay. Hang on, I have to remember this for reading.
Flaming
lore.
hot Cheeto. Whoa.
That's a
Oh, sorry.
It's a tally mark. Okay, so Morwen, you approach, walking by, looking down as you pass. You can see the fire roaring beneath you. But you get up to this first door. If you want to go ahead and use your thieves' tools to make a lockpicking check.
Yes. On my space.
Just trying not to like destroy the audio port of my laptop.
You don't
Preferable.
need it anyway.
Yeah. That would be nice.
It's for nerds.
Yeah.
Right, that's a 21.
21. Easily enough. And having done this previously, your hands fly through the lock. The tools seeming to almost find the place by themselves, and ting, lock opens. You swing the door open and step forward. You cross the 10 feet in this small in-between space that gets a little bit narrower. And you bend down. Make another lockpicking check.
It's for a 31.
Okay. This one, it's almost in motion. As you put this lockpick in, instantly you hear and feel the resistance give way. And it's almost as if in stride, you step in, pause for a moment, and then just open the door and you're through. The single platform now in front of you is separating you from this doorway. And you know that on the other side, there is no lock. You know where the lever is. You kind of turn to the right and you can see it against the wall now, just barely, the wall opposite you. You know that through this, there is this articulated marble walkway that will come out on mechanical arms, drop down, and lead you to the cold forge itself. That is just on the other side of this door.
Y'all ready to make some Cheetos?
For the rest of you guys, you just see one door open, and then the
Oh, I'm
other door just
following.
open.
I'm like heading towards the door and just going to it
Yeah.
immediately.
And then just
Wasting
hearing,
no
"Y'all
time.
ready to make some Cheetos?"
You hear Morwen murmur to herself as she just concentrates. But you guys are now outside this door, separating you from the cold forge. What would you like to do?
Let's go.
All right. Best plan of action. Fastest should try to get there first and position themselves, and then I'll cover as I, go back and hopefully figure out how to close this door behind us.
Why can't you just push the guy?
Okay,
You're strong.
fine.
Be strong, Heinrich.
Thanks.
Okay.
I love this. I think this is such a great plan.
Fine.
I didn't
How
think
about
about
this?
this at all.
How about this? Who's the second strongest out of all of us and would like to get down on all fours and we can just tabletop him into the
Oh,
lava?
I'm not the strongest, but that does sound fun.
This would be the second fight that you guys would theoretically win by tabletop, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Since you
Well, it's a
tabletop
Dungeons
we
and
like
Dragons,
back
it's just
in
a
the first
tabletop simulator, so.
Okay.
All right. Who wants to be the table? And I'll do the pushing. And I gesture, and again, no one can see it.
Just kidding.
Nope. Please, someone volunteer, please. We need to keep moving. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Great. Thanks. And Shay as well, if you'd like.
I can just
To be tabling.
push him with my mind.
Perfect.
Right.
Then I'll be the bottom, and you can be the
top.
the distant shover.
I think it works best.
No,
for
those are the
Heinrich
two
to be
positions. Those are the two traditional positions, right? You have a bottom and a distant pusher.
Yes.
That's the
And I
common
think
phrase.
Because you're a warlock, I think you're a powered bottom. Is the way that
I'm an empowered bottom.
Ah.
All right. Yeah, perfect. I'll just get in position.
Bottom.
I'll get in position. You fly in there and get in position, and then I'll just yell. I'll just yell, and you can do it.
I don't know why you have to yell, but okay.
Or I don't know how you'll know that I'm there.
I don't think he cares if you're there. He's gonna push him. Guys, we're wasting time. This is what happened last time.
Okay, go do it.
Heinrich, go bottom.
I'm gonna get behind him on the closest side to an edge, and you shove him off the closest side to an edge, and hopefully that's where we're gonna be.
All right, I'll get on the other edge just in case he's wrong. All right, guys.
Let's just surround him with tables, so no matter which direction he's
That's
pushed.
what I'm saying. All right.
Perfect. Let's do it.
You run in. I'm positioning myself in table form at a random area near the ledge.
Okay.
Holding on for dear life.
So worth noting, there's this door, and you would remember that when you pull this lever, the door will open, and there's a mechanical path that will be lowered. That does
Right,
take.
they'll know we're coming.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
float
Someone's
over
Yes. Okay. Okay.
so that
I'm just
I can get there
reminding you guys.
faster. while
Who's
it's
pulling the
still-
lever?
Pull
Do
the
we
lever from-
remember? Would I have remembered which side the platform starts to lower on?
Yeah, on the right side.
So, like from his side or from our side?
From your side.
Okay, I'm gonna fly over as quickly as I can so that if he gets up to the edge before the platform falls, I can just push him and then the platform lands over him.
Fantastic. I love it. Okay. So you get ready. Heinrich gets ready. Shay gets ready. Morwen, your black tabaxi fingers wrap around this lever.
Invisible black. we got an hour of this. I'm not wasting any minutes of it.
It's
There you go.
it's Cheeto time.
You have, for what it's worth, you have 50 minutes left.
Perfect.
So you say it's Cheeto time. All of you hear this coming from the invisible Morwen, and then the lever seems to just shut itself. The door swings open, and you hear these mechanical arms begin to articulate down.
Flying.
As you begin to rush out, you can see across this. And let me give you guys some more appropriate music here. So, Aka, you begin to rush across, and you can see on the other side of this articulated marble path, and you see these marble tiles being lowered by these long mechanical arms until they form a roughly even path in front of you, or behind you, really. But as you rush forward, you see Arconum, this gray dwarf clad in heavy plate mail armor. You can see the dark blue cloak of Darkholm, this gray dwarf city kind of behind him, begin to flutter as he moves. He holds this massive hammer that you heard called in the previous battle Foe Waster. It glows with this internal both fire and ice that seem to swirl around it, and steam drifts away. His eyes narrow. You can see they glow from within with this baleful, cold glow. Aka, just from a mechanical standpoint, this walkway is, well, so actually, one sec. I need everybody to roll initiative. I'm going to post in our Discord, and if somebody could post this, the finalized version of this encounter map. But you can see probably about 45 feet long this pathway. So I could keep that in mind. You move, what is your flying speed? 30 feet?
35.
35. So you are 10 feet away from the end when we're going to start this initiative order.
Okay.
Okay. So. Okay. Oh, you guys got way luckier than you did last time. All right. Anybody natural 20? All right. 25 to 20?
21.
22.
22 and 21.
I love having a good Dex character.
20 to 15. Oh, wow. All right.
Am I beating
15,
you?
15 to 10.
14.
10.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
that
all
makes
right,
sense.
all right.
Pretty big drop off there.
Yeah.
Morwen, and then Heinrich. So we're going to start with Aka, which makes sense. Then Shay, then Morwen, then Heinrich, then Arconum, and then at the very, very end, Velchrysix, if there's anything that they are capable of doing. So, Aka, as you rush forwards, you are now about 10 feet away from where he is. At the moment, he's not standing where he is in that picture. He is standing 5 feet back.
Okay, so he's not at the edge of it yet.
No, but he is he's walking towards it. He's just not there yet.
Okay. I guess I will fly around to. Actually, can I just? I want to be able to telekinetically shove him 5 feet towards me, so that he is falling into the lava. Can I ready that so that when he moves the 5 feet, I can do that? Because I
You
think
certainly can. Yeah, that's an action. You can ready an action. So as long as the action is telekinetic shove, you can ready that for when they get to within 5 feet of you. And then using that shove, you can push them over the edge of that platform, or you could attempt to.
Can I still use a bonus action?
You
If
can.
I ready an action.
Yep. So use the bonus action first.
Actually, no. You know what? Why would I? I'm just gonna use 2 telekinetic shoves because it's a bonus action, so I can just use a bonus action and then an action. And
You
just
cannot use a bonus action as an action. It's a bonus action specifically.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do?
Yeah, I guess I will ready a.
What do you want to do?
I can just shove him not telekinetically and then telekinetic shove him. So I will shove him from behind.
So you're using a bonus action attack to shove him?
I'm using my regular action to shove him.
Okay.
And then I'm using my bonus action
To
telekinetic to
telekinetically shove.
shove.
Fair enough. Okay, so make an athletics check. I'm going to say you can make this at advantages. It is certainly catching him by surprise because you're flying invisibly, and that's not what he is expecting right now.
Okay.
You do.
Yeah, I think I would be doing it sort of like, rather than a shove, kind of like grabbing him while I'm flying and pulling him by the shoulders.
You could certainly
Which
try.
is like
He rolled pretty high.
Oh, okay.
He's
Well,
like a sturdy dude.
you said it was athletics check for the first?
Yep, competing athletics check.
Okay, come on, big natty 20.
He rolled a disadvantage too, but he still rolled pretty well.
How's that natty 20?
What's the total? It's gonna be close.
Are you serious?
It's gonna be really
yeah,
close.
I just rolled a fucking. This
Oh,
dice right now is just giving me 20s and 18s in the 3 rolls that I've had.
Not strong.
So it's a flat 20 because it's athletics, but I'm going to use my flash of genius to make it a 25.
Okay, with that flash of genius. So as you rush forwards and shove Arconum, you hear this as he grunts, the eyes shift, and even as the eyes turn, it leaves this little trail of blue sparks as they do. But you push, and as you push, he grabs onto your wrists almost reflectively, and you could feel the strength of him. But in this moment, kind of seeing everything unfold, you shift your momentum a little bit, and using your intelligence kind of change the leverage that you get and are able to wrench him around. You're pushing him 5 feet.
Can I push him more with a regular shove? I think it's just 5 feet.
I think it's just 5 feet.
Yeah.
Give me 1 sec. So he is going to use, that's a saving throw, so I can't use that. Can't use that. Hang on, I'm seeing if there's anything that he can do, because you might just be pushing him right off this thing.
Oh, nice.
He technically gets +5 to initiative rolls. That doesn't help him because he rolled a 3. All right. So you watch as all of a sudden, for all of you standing at the other end of this dwarf wheels around, the eyes shift, and then suddenly he almost loses hold of his hammer as his arms begin to pinwheel. This whole dwarf shifts back. Almost drunkenly, you can see he rocks on one heel leaning over the edge. The mouth opens, and this dwarf just falls off the side. That 25, I'm going to bring you guys out of initiative.
Did he drop his really cool hammer?
No, he brought. Sorry about that. He brought that with him.
Was that him hitting the lava?
That was him hitting the lava and. Akka, as you turn and look beneath you, you can see the hammer itself. This like violent red glow, this white glow, shattering ice away from it. This is like 60 feet below you.
Ooh, can I Since
I
we're
would
out
just
of
like to-
initiative,
I would like to point out that everyone else except Akka is still invisible.
Yes.
Okay, just
Um,
putting that out there.
if we're out of initiative, can I try to save that with my psionic ability?
What is your psionic ability in action, or
This one is an action.
Is
I
this
would
the
say
mage hand?
if you have a reaction, you could do that, but it would need to be a reaction. If anybody else has an action or a bonus action they would like to use to try to save it, they certainly could.
Try to save the hammer?
Yes, you guys are far
definitely
away.
don't. No.
Yeah.
Mage hand doesn't reach that far, and it couldn't pick something that heavy up.
So
like, nah.
unfortunately, Akka, as you attempt to kind of turn and look, you watch as the ice on this magical item shatters and reforms and shatters and reforms as it just vanishes, and then the lava bloop, and collapses on top of it. There is this bubbling, roiling bit of lava as it sinks. This reaction happening, and you'd imagine it is probably not destroyed. It is probably still underneath that lava.
So then, after the required 6 seconds of turn action, can I go down and telekinetically pull it out?
You can certainly try.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we keep our eye on the prize here, so that's
Yeah.
cool. I'm gonna look around for a button that raises the walkway and closes this door, so we can like seal ourselves in here a little bit.
Okay.
Me too. That sounds like something I enjoy.
So the two of you begin to cross this path, looking for some kind of a way to close that door.
Ooh. Before we get too far into this, I'd be like, Morwen, can you go relock those doors and like damage it somehow so that they can't like just key them open? Put
Or
more
we should
time.
just go close them and punch it or something. How am I
You're
supposed
right.
to
You get on the button. Don't push it until I'm back. I'll let you know when I'm back.
buttons?
Wait,
Oh Jesus!
no. Leave it as it is. Make her think that nothing has changed.
Okay, fine.
We'll
Just
try
close
to
it.
isolate Kuthvar.
Fine. You're right. Smart. Okay, I'm gonna go close the doors and well, actually, Morwen, can you go relock the doors, please?
All right, but
Just do this. Just do it. Time. Just do it. Yeah, I'll find the button. You push it.
Sorry, Ali, you got cut out. I didn't hear.
I'll go relock these doors. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, now I can.
It's working. You just gotta like be close to the mic.
So, Morwen, you rush back to the door. Shay, what are you doing?
Following.
Okay. You follow Heinrich. So Heinrich, you are looking for this button. So you begin to walk down the path. Morwen, you go the other direction. Akka, you are going to float down and try to do what?
I'm gonna float down and try to use my telekinetic movement to target one loose object that is large or smaller.
Ooh.
And if it is within 30 feet, I can move it up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that I can
So-
I hope you bring up the
currently-
door instead of
See
the
So
joke.
you cannot see it.
Against her.
That's
Oh,
also not an object.
Worse than that. So as you begin to float down, the heat is intense. It is 60 feet beneath you, but even 5 feet down, you begin to question whether going even further than this would be a good idea.
shoot.
You
I
can
wanted
do it,
for
but
the.
imagine it's going to start hurting though.
Is it worth having his giant hammer for pretending to be him? It'll be suspicious if I don't have it.
So, also worth noting, this Dragonborn is still there.
Yeah.
You can see black scales.
And you're the only one that he can see.
Just a loincloth.
And you're just ignoring him.
He's been just staring up at you. And at this point, he takes a second and just kind of goes,
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Greedy eyes over there.
Oh, we're here to help. Just
okay, that's good. I couldn't quite
Without
tell at
crisis?
first, and if I was going to be pushed into the lava, well, I was kind of hoping.
no.
it
We're
would
here.
happen
We're here to
already.
save you. I need to learn from you, but
This
need
is
to
the
get that.
strangest introduction I've ever
yeah,
had.
I know.
was
Just
kidnapped by dwarves, not
shut up
some
for a
monster.
second, okay? Just.
I'm gonna yell from across the room and be like, he's right, we just went back in time somehow. It's really fucking weird.
His head just jerks over to this invisible nothing. You're only, if you have crossed now, you're only like 20 feet away from him. So his head just jerks over and he looks around. He looks back at you, Akka. Exactly how many of you are there?
Nice to
4
meet
right
you.
now.
Okay. 1, 2,
And
3.
the other one is
You're
pretty
the other
quiet.
side.
She doesn't talk much
Oh,
anyway.
that's
So, but she's here somewhere.
Well, this is the first time I've been able to talk to somebody else's imaginary friends.
Well, they're not imaginary. They're just weird.
He holds up his hands. You can see they are shackled slightly, although the shackle a little bit wider than normal. You would imagine to allow him to utilize tools.
Hmm.
Would you mind?
Oh, yeah. Here, I guess I'll just lock pick them.
Okay.
Yeah, but if we're supposed to be like doing a little, play on the other person, shouldn't we kind of keep them locked up for at the moment? No offense, sir. Nice to meet
I mean,
you.
we can put them back on.
Keep locking the doors
You
in
can
the
see
other
he kind
room.
of looks vaguely in your direction more when he's looking like past you because he can't actually see you.
Wait, have I
Um,
locked the doors? Am I in this room?
You're at the other end. You haven't locked the doors yet. As soon as you lock the doors,
I'm
you are
doing it.
interacting with something. So suddenly, Morwen, you go to lock the door and zoop, become visible. He focuses in on you a little bit more now and kind of nods to you.
Or I launched the previous doors. I'm back.
It doesn't.
Okay.
You are now walking back. Yes.
It doesn't. Spell ends for target that attacks or casts a spell only.
Okay. Then in that case, you're still invisible.
Yay.
There you go.
So I'm
Creepy.
gonna try to pick his locks, I guess.
Okay. He holds up.
Assuming
these
that the
shackles.
key was probably on Arconum and is probably in the lava.
Yeah, but isn't it going to be weird if he's like uncuffed? I'm confused.
Are you saying that out loud?
Just
Yeah.
Was that sleight o' hand?
Are you proficient in thieves' tools?
I am.
Then yeah, sleight of hand. Add a proficiency
Then that
bonus.
is a 21.
Okay. Bending down, you hold out your hand, and from the gauntlet itself, these small tools emerge, folding out of seams of the armor, and they begin to work almost by themselves. You do see Akka turning his hand a little bit, and there is some skill involved. But with a little bit longer than it would have taken Morwen, the manacles do kind of open. He pulls his hands out, and they clang, clang, clang onto the ground. He rubs the black scales that are a little bit kind of almost like when your fingernails get kind of brittle and begin to shatter a little bit. The scales underneath the manacles are like that a little bit.
I'm like, I know it probably stinks, but can you hold on to those? Because Kuthvar's on her way. We're gonna try to, catch her by surprise.
we're gonna hopefully fool her to leave us alone so that we can better talk to you. But there's a little bit of a time-sensitive issue.
Understood. He bends down, picks up the manacles, and kind of loosely places them back over his hands. So, is there a place I should stand for this plan of yours?
Just-
or-
What were you doing before we entered, and what was Arconum doing?
Do you mean like professionally, or just
Like,
the current
just
activity?
like what were you what was he currently having you do?
He
How
turns and you
could-
can see.
I'm guessing he
How
was
could
just
this
guarding
guy
you.
talking to you act like him and not raise any suspicions? Just enough so that we're left alone.
Besides having
You seem
the
to be spending a
hammer
lot
that
of
just
time with this
fell.
guy lately.
He isn't especially kind. He doesn't swear. That is something that is unique to him amongst these gray dwarves. But the most important thing, be protective of the Cold Forge. And you are the boss. Remember that and you'll be fine.
Okay.
He turns and kind of picks up the hammer. As for what I was working on, he had requested new armor to match the hammer that I had just finished.
That one, pointing down into the lava.
He looks over from like 30 feet away in the middle of this platform, presumably. So
Okay.
what would you have me do? Where do I stand? Is there lines for this plan of yours?
Just keep working and, don't raise any suspicion. We're kind of winging it here.
He turns and kind of nods. Yes, I get the sense that that seems to be your style. If we can make it back to the ship that brought me here, I do have my equipment and could be a lot more helpful to all of you. It seems as if you need my help for something. He turns and looks at you, Akka.
The only one he can look at.
I want to learn Thazarakian technique from you, but that's beside the point right now. Let's just be ready.
I've always wanted to fly. Maybe we can both have our dreams realized. He turns. Clang.
There's
He's
something I
just
can
hitting
do
this.
to like
How do we raise
show him
this?
like I know a little bit already.
You tell me. What do you want to do? You're an artificer.
How do
I
we
guess a
raise this
magical-
platform and close the door from in here?
He kind of turns and he gestures, and looking over, there is a stone set into the ground, slightly discolored. Step on that.
Perfect.
I'm on it. I step on it.
You step on it, it depresses slightly, and one by one, these mechanical arms pick up this path, and there is just a 45-foot gap where beneath you there's just elemental fire.
Cool. All right. I'm going to go hide behind the work table near the forge and just sort of like crouch as well, just in case.
Okay.
Like as much cover and hiding as an invisible person can get
Same. I'm gonna
from
step
the
on
door
it.
perspective.
Okay. You go around to the other side of the door, and you feel the heat of the forge as you do. There is this thrum that comes from it. It is highly magical, and none of you have really been around something on this level. Shay, the item that you wear, the breaker or the binder, this item similar in terms of the sort of reverberation that you can feel from time to time from it. There is this almost primal energy to it, but you hide. Heinrich, Morwen, and Shay make a stealth check. Akka, what are you doing to? What is your part of this plan?
I'm gonna
Regular, not
use alter self, but not quite yet.
Okay.
Because first I want us to actually. We have some time, right? Presumably, we still have like.
Make
Roughly
an intelligence check. I know exactly how much time you have.
under 50 minutes, but probably more than 30 minutes.
Oh, that's so optimistic.
That was a flat intelligence check.
Mm-hmm.
That's an 18.
18. You would imagine that when you began this, based on if everything goes exactly as it did prior, when you began, you probably had about a 21-minute lead, give or take. At the moment, you probably have something like 3 minutes left.
Okay. Let's try to capture her alive. Get rid of the two. Just don't move until it's necessary.
Capture?
Okay.
from behind my hiding place. Capture? What? No, just make her go
yes,
away.
No, just follow my lead. Don't come out until it makes sense to. Okay.
All right. Whenever you say Cheeto, I'll come out. I'm gonna go hide. Not coming out unless you say Cheetah.
I'm like,
I'm
God
scared
damn
of
it,
her.
she's 100% serious,
I
so now
know.
I have to
Oh
say
my God.
Cheeto.
Would I be invisible stone if this happened again?
You don't know.
That would be the worst.
Are you saying that out loud?
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, I am.
You can
I'm
see
going
still-
to.
Good.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm gonna alter self once everyone's in place.
Okay. Once everybody's in place, you pull your hand down. The calligraphy on your armor shifts and begins to almost move onto your skin. The glyph's still there, but they seem to almost leak, like watercolor bleeding into parchment. And as it gets onto your skin, the skin itself shifts into gray. This beard begins to emerge. And as you shrink in stature and the armor kind of folds in like a can being crushed, you diminish in size. And suddenly, where Akka once floated, there's now Arconum floating.
I land too.
around, and he lands. You can see the glowing blue eyes, the sort of heavy, dark armor that Arconum wore. Are you doing anything else? See Valkyrie 6 turns, looks at you, and just kind of nods approvingly.
I'm gonna like go back, be like, I'm gonna ask him like, where was I standing before? What do I usually do?
He turns and looks at you. When the door opens, just stand at the front. He always does it. It's supposed to be intimidating.
Okay, be intimidating and stand over there. Right. I'm just gonna be waiting for the things to start coming down.
As these couple of seconds occur, he does say one final thing to you, which is, if I could weigh in, and I am appreciative of your help, but trying to capture Kuthar, not a terribly good idea.
Right. I know, but if we can, it would behoove me.
Let's try it later. Not here, not now.
Cheeto?
Not yet.
The seconds tick by.
This is the best place to do it.
He just kind of shakes his head. There is no good place for what you are trying to do.
Right, which is why this is the best place to do it.
All I'm saying, and suddenly in this moment, you hear the sound of a lever far away being depressed, and these mechanical arms begin to descend. The marble tiles being lowered into place. This pathway forms. What are you doing, Akker? Are you walking over and kind of standing in that position?
Yeah, I'm gonna stand all intimidating, like.
Make an intimidation check. The door on the other end opens, and you can see the bright pink robes of Kuthar. She's alone. There are no other guards, though for those of you looking with any passive perception above 15, you can see behind her, they're still in the room. But she does approach alone. What is that check?
16. I'm gonna use a flash of genius to make it a 21.
Okay.
Or a
21?
Yes.
Okay. You can see the excitable Kuthar begin to surge forwards, and as you stand there, these blue eyes glowing, she falters a little bit. You can see like the stutter step, and then she kind of stops 5 feet onto the platform. She looks to the side, to the left. She looks to the right. You can see one eye a little bit bigger than the other. She holds up a hand. You can see it is trembling just slightly. There's like a lot of energy to this creature. But she stays back and just kind of,
What are you doing here, Kuthar?
oh my God, thank you. We're following somebody. They made me get out of my workshop to come out here and deal with this individual. They're gone. We froze them because somebody had the idea that that would be good. They're no longer in there. There are no bodies. There are bodies, but they're not the ones we're looking for. Has anyone come in? You can see the eyes
Just
shift over.
me and the Dragonborn as it should be. Blah.
She narrows her eyes at you. Make a deception check.
Oh,
Yeah, almost a disadvantage, but not quite.
no.
That's a 17. I'm gonna use another flash of genius
The most important
for
deceptions
22.
in a long time.
22?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. She shrinks back just a little bit as you go, brr. She shrinks back just a little bit. And she says, okay, well, very sorry, of course, Eater of Cold Fire, Your Majesty. But if you do see somebody come through, I think they're probably looking to get to the Cold Forge. This is the third time. We can't keep this up too much longer. Just finish what you're doing. And she turns
Wait.
back respectfully up. She turns and stops.
I must speak with you alone.
She looks around as you two and Velchrysix are the only three in this room. Do you want me to have somebody bring him back to his cell?
No. Shut the door. Come here.
You can see she shrinks just a little bit more. And for the first time, you can see she kind of trudges over to the door. The only time that you've seen her move slow, but she turns and she kind of looks. You can see the two doors, or the two gray doors beyond, don't look at her, but she just shuts the door and poof, it closes. The walkway begins to retract, but you can see she waves her hand and it kind of grinds to a stop. She crosses back over slowly, kind of looking up, and every now and then she begins to talk kind of like a, well, she takes a couple more steps. The thing is, we didn't really... And she just slowly approaches. She gets to within 5 feet of you, head lowered. What do you say?
Do you know why we're here working in the Cold Forge?
She looks up at you. Well, yeah, you said, well, is this rhetorical?
No. I want to hear your answer.
She looks over at Velchrysix, whose back is to her. Morwen, Heinrich, Shay, looking up, you can see his head hunched a little bit low. There is a little bit of a smile on the Dragonborn's face. But she, still looking down, says, to prepare for the oncoming onslaught of Zeistris as he rises from the dark. I know this is important work to protect our people, and we're trying to do it as fast as we can, but there has to be another way. Keeping this place active is drawing too much attention.
Then if there's another way, pray tell me.
I understand that this place has wonderful things. I found the Black Vein Elixir here, and you know how much I like it. And it's not a problem. I can stop drinking whatever I want. But abandoning this place means abandoning those fields. And I understand that that's not ideal, even for me, and you know how strongly I feel about that. But I think we need to find another place. Darkholme isn't safe.
Cheeto! Excuse me.
Are you okay, Arcona?
The
Should I go
smoke-
get a healer?
No.
Volcrysix is like now
Scares me.
looking
Said I
over.
wasn't going to go near that one. So I'm just like,
I think I'm holding and realizing like there's a better way to do this. I'm not doing anything.
You
I'm
hear this
scared.
kind of clang, and as in the moment of this clang, you hear Volcrysix go, I think it's your time. Clang. Nothing happens. He looks around again, trying to like figure out where you guys are, because as far as he can tell, you all just ditched. But she looks and Heinrich.
Mm-mm.
Okay. She turns and kind of looks at you, Arconum. I know we can't go back to where we came from, and I know that we can't go any further south. Everything is going quiet. Even those in the Alabaster Terrace haven't responded. I'm worried that those in Stoneflow aren't going to send help anymore. And without those, without the bodies, we're not going to be able to continue. You know that as well as I do.
Of course I know. That's why I said this is our best option. Cheeto!
Are you sure you're okay? I can just go get a healer. I don't think that.
It is fine. It's the smoke from the forge.
Her eyes narrow a little bit about this. Make a deception check. For what it's worth, considering the smoky room that you guys came from, there is no smoke in this room.
What's deception? What is my deception? That's a 17. I'm gonna use another flash of genius to make it a 22.
Okay, man. So just for what it's worth, so all of them have been fairly close, and the Flash of Genius is the only thing that's kept you above every single one of these checks. For this one, it lets you pass it by 1. So yeah, real tight.
Damn.
So she, sorry, you said
It was because the smoke from the
Right.
forge.
She kind of looks around and she's about to say something, but she looks back at Volcrysix. She looks kind of down at the lava and she seems to reconsider. But she kind of stops and says, as far as we can tell, we only have about a month. We won't be able to finish in time.
Well, then I ask again what you would suggest we do otherwise.
We have the Artificer. We have the Scald basically with us. All we need to do is find another forge, or I'm sure it knows something that we can do.
She said it? Is she referring
The Dragonborn, yeah.
Then I'd be like, Dragonborn, do you know of another forge?
He looks, and you can see
Speak!
for a brief moment, for those of you who are looking from the other side of the table, a brief moment of panic in his eyes, as he had specifically asked if there's anything he needed to know for this plan. But he freezes for a moment, and then he says, no, sir.
And I'm going to turn back to her, be like, does that answer your questions?
Yeah, I guess it does, Arconum. She looks up again. I really think that maybe you need to take a break. You've been in here for almost 2 weeks now.
You just said yourself we have less than a month and you're telling me to take a break? Get out of here!
She turns and scurries away down the walkway. You see little footsteps as the pink robe trails behind. She turns and kind of again almost says something and then pulls the lever. The door open. You see the dwarves kind of scuttle back. They had all come up to the door and were like trying to listen previously. But you can see she shoves one out of the way and the door closes behind the walkway that has been shaking because she stopped it. Now back up and draws away. The Dragonborn, as soon as the door shuts, he drops the hammer and he turns to you, Akka. Where did they all go?
That's what I want to know too.
He turns and looks down at your voice, Morwen. Why didn't you go when he said the word? You made this plan literally moments ago.
Yeah, I got
Because it
scared.
was made moments ago. It didn't seem wise, and it still
And
doesn't seem
you're
like it
here
would have been
too.
wise.
One of your targets, not mine, by the way. I didn't enter this contract. One of your targets was right in front of you,
Right,
and you
and
let
we
her
made
get
it
away.
here. We made it here successfully, and we know where she's based, and we know she has problems.
Be around here, so maybe we can just have a nice little conversation. You know, bring her out of this
We're
hellhole.
in the Cold Forge. This was the best place to stop her. She was all alone. No one else is going to come down here.
I'm looking for her.
And we go looking for her later, and we know that she's addicted to, what was it, black vein? What was this stuff?
And the Dragonborn speaks up at this. It's called Black Vein Elixir. It is a energy providing potion of a kind.
Is that how she's kind of like one of those deep singers?
Oh no, I believe that is a.
Inherent trait?
If it is what you're speaking of, I've heard them discuss it. It was an old ruling caste of a kind.
Gotcha. Great. Okay. No, this is fine. Now we have no suspicions here, which means that they're going to go on a wild hunt, buy us plenty of time to figure out what we're going to do and get out of here safely to another space.
May
We
I
can
suggest something?
help you escape to your ship with your tools?
It isn't my ship. My original
have it.
route turns to the invisible voice. Have what?
Ship.
I'm sorry?
No, go on. It's okay. I'll
Well,
take it later.
I I was brought here. My original mission would have brought me here anyways, but I had not meant to be captured. Those that captured me were not from here. It was an unfortunate incident with dwarves from Stoneflow. I guess those who are caught trespassing upon their projects are sold to the Grey Dwarves here. They brought me on a submersible ship through the dark salt expanse. All we need to do is reach that ship, assuming that he hasn't returned, which I don't believe he has, and we could take that out to any one of a number of places along the underground ocean's shores. I will warn you, it won't be terribly comfortable. It is designed for one pilot and 6 captives, and the locomotion of this craft is a bit unusual.
Well,
Where's our reason for arriving here and using this forge? Who
I'm
has it?
sorry. Are you all humans?
Oh, sorry. Now that we have time, and I'll just drop invisibility because it probably didn't have a hell of a lot of time left.
Just looks around a little bit bewildered. Oh, a tabaxi.
I'm still in my hidey hole.
Yeah, then he wouldn't be able to see you. So, a tiefling. A human. So only one of you, not human.
what?
Hi. I'll come out of my hidey hole.
I'm an elf.
Now he says.
Or
Oh, right,
half
you
elf,
are
I
an
think.
elf. Sorry, you're half elf.
Half
but yeah.
elf? Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was like, no, I'm full elf.
Oh,
Okay.
right. Sorry, was it?
I thought that he was just being like, oh, elves and humans, they're all the same.
No, 100% he is.
Sorry, was
That's-
Anasu half, or was he also full elf?
Also,
Anasu is
elf.
full elf.
Yeah.
We had it? Okay.
He turns and looks at you, Morwen. Haven't seen a tabaxi this far east. You're a colorful group. Can we go, or is there something else that we're waiting for?
Well-
we got a little something to handle first.
Yeah, the reason why we're here in the first place.
If we just left.
Yeah,
You know what? Next year. Next
Well,
year we'll
whatever
take
it
care
is
of
that
it.
we're doing, could we do it quickly? I've been here for now some
My
time.
guess is probably not. But you're
Probably not.
probably also good at this, so maybe you can help.
What is it that you need help with?
Do you guys want to tell him, or should I?
We're here to fix a weapon.
Not just any weapon. You're understating it, Shay. That's really understating it.
All right.
Right.
This is something that I can do. Can we just get on with it? Could I have this item, please?
It's the breaker. You know, one of the tri-wards. You
I'm
probably
sorry,
know about it.
a
Yeah.
tri-ward.
Yeah, you know,
You
you're familiar.
have a tri-ward here.
Yep, it's broken. The breaker broken. They broke it.
It's often
Do
apparently
you see my
done this in its
frustration
history.
now?
Which do you have, the bandolier or one of the daggers?
It was a dagger.
Okay. River or ruin?
Neither.
We wouldn't know, I don't think.
This must be
I would've
a
known.
Dominion tri-ward then.
It is.
Ah,
I'm not familiar with these, but I should be able to repair it. How, may I ask, did you find a way to break it in the first place?
It was
That's a
used
good question.
in a gateway.
some sort of ritual, it seemed.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, unless it was a gateway to not a true place, like a demiplane, a planar prison, the astral sea. Those could all be things that might have a similar reaction. May I see this item? I've never actually seen one in person.
Does he seem trustworthy?
Make an insight check.
Yeah, definitely we gotta.
Don't want to be
I
handing
like
him random
I'll say that out loud too. It's
world
I like 'em.
edibles.
Turns and looks at
probably
you.
foods.
I appreciate your candor. It is refreshing in a way.
Thank
Uh,
you. You too, sir. I don't know.
That
what
was a
means.
14.
My name is Valchrysix, and I am of the Scald.
All right,
It was a
I'm gonna call
14?
you B.
B. Okay. His name, for what it's worth, his name it's spelled with a V. It is.
She said
is-
B.
Oh, okay. I heard B as in boy.
No, but that's
It's just,
funnier.
you know,
I'm just
distance
calling
from the
B.
microphone.
Okay. So just so you have it for your notes, that is the spelling of his name: Valkyrysix.
Yeah,
Is needlessly
definitely calling him
complicated
B.
because Dragonborn. So he, what was the inside check?
14.
14. Kind of hard to read. He's a Dragonborn. You don't have a ton of experience with these, and the ones that you have met. Oh, you're Akka. You haven't even met really very many at all.
I
They're
speak
very
Draconic,
uncommon
though.
opinion. That's lovely. But despite speaking Draconic, it doesn't give you a ton of insight into his speaking in common. Additionally, there is just this essence to him where the tone of voice is kind of flat, and so it's difficult to read.
Hmm.
That being said, it doesn't seem untrustworthy, and you did just save his life. You would imagine probably, I mean, you know, what is the worst that could happen?
Well, I don't
You
have
could
it.
also very
right.
easily kill
I-
him. It is 3 against 1, and he just saw us do a whole bunch of
Four?
crazy shit.
Are you saying that out loud?
If there's open discussion.
No, there isn't, and don't you dare say that. Don't
If it's
fucking-
not, if this is
don't
not an
fucking
open
threat.
discussion, I shall
You-
not say
Jesus,
that
you-
out.
So just remember, if you guys are saying stuff, you are saying it out loud. So just, you know, in terms
Yeah,
of
we're not allowed to
metagaming.
talk.
Put it in an
No
asterisk.
planning ever. All right. Can I also insight just because I have met
Yeah,
a
go
few?
for it.
All right.
And yes, I meant 4 of
Who
us.
Yeah.
currently has the breaker? Do
You
I
do.
still have it
You
in
do,
the
yeah.
lantern?
Yeah, you do.
You
Yep.
still have it, yep.
I think I
Alright,
would
and-
take the lantern out, but I wouldn't give him the lantern. I'd just kind of hold the thing so we could like see that there are pieces
You
of
said
it. in
insight?
there.
Yeah,
23.
23. Looking at this Dragonborn, it isn't so much that you know more of them, but thinking about the situation and kind of thinking about at least the very little that you do know. He was here to destroy the Cold Forge. He wasn't here to craft anything.
Correct.
He was taken captive, and he's just trying to get out of here. You guys are probably his best shot out, and so he's
Yeah.
probably not going to do anything to try to mess that up.
If you fix this, we'll help you destroy the Cold Forge and escape.
But if you do anything, we will kill. No, I'm just kidding. It's 4 of us. And
Stop!
I know.
Fucking hell!
I'm just having
You
fun
have
with my new
yourself.
friend.
You have yourself a deal.
Not for anything too, but if you could teach me some Dazarakian techniques, I would also.
Maybe this is an inappropriate place and time for this discussion. Let's have it aboard the vessel.
That
Can I
seems-
have that item, please?
I'm gonna look to the rest of the group to be like, I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna nod and be like, yeah,
I'm,
I think he's good.
Yeah, I'm handing it to him.
Okay. He reaches down, he pulls off this heavy glove, pulls it up the scaled arm, and he gingerly takes this lantern and sets it on the side of the Cold Forge. And as he does, you all hear this single ring as it impacts, this ding. It's almost like it responds in a way. You could see the eyebrows, as much as they are for a Dragonborn, kind of raise a little bit at this. Interesting. Whatever you do have here is quite powerful, so perhaps.
It is the breaker.
He peels open this lantern, and as he pulls it open, there's this blinding light that radiates out from the broken shards of this thing. His eyes squint a little bit against it, and he nods. I could fix this. If you have any of the original material left, it is not easy to come by. It is called diotic metal. It looks as if it is glass with...
There's there's the storeroom that should have some, but we didn't get any.
I may not be able to teach you these skills. There are fundamental learning that must be done first.
I know some.
So usually, to craft an item or repair it, you do need materials.
I'm familiar with that. It was
Well,
not
how
my
about,
choice to not get
look,
them.
This.
How did you?
And I just give him like a gold piece.
That's not gonna
All
work
right.
more.
How did you craft?
Which
just
which
like,
piece is this?
I take it back.
Which piece is this?
Well, now that you're asking, I guess I'll give him a nocturne coin because that's the only other one I have noted.
Okay. He takes this little coin and he looks at it kind of surprised. Where did you get this?
I don't remember. Some dead
Huh.
body.
Well,
Maybe a
This
live one
is-
too, actually. I don't know.
something that we might be able to use, but we need a significant amount more than this.
Oh, okay. Here's 43.
See, they just splash out. This. Hang on one second.
sorry,
Are you impressed?
gold can just bypass diotic metal.
You have one. So as far as I remember, you have a diotic coin, not a. You don't have 43 of them. But if I remember correctly, currently Heinrich, or actually no, you guys lost this. You did have access to one brick of pure diotic metal at one
Yep.
point.
That's in Gunter's bag on the plane.
I believe one of you has shards of diotic metal that you pulled out of Twee's eyeball.
We have half a so we have Twee's eyeball, which I still have, and then we have about half a pound, I think, of like raw diotic metal.
So it's processed diotic metal. You guys have half
Okay.
a pound that you pulled off of that eye, the sculpture's
Right.
eye.
Right.
So
I have an alternating links chain asterisk.
Alternating
I don't know
links
if
chain.
that has any. Yeah, like the
It doesn't,
alternating
it's,
links are different metals.
Oh.
that there is a link of diotic metal on there.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
tiny. It's very small.
let's scrounge together Twee's eyeball, the statue eyeball, and then the
shit and being like, is this it? Is this it? Is this
So
it?
you guys you just start pulling things out, and you're like
With
holding
the-
things up.
would the bag work in a way where if I think diotic metal, I would be able to just like pull the objects out of it?
Not quite, but you don't have very many of them, so it's
Right.
not hard to really pull them together. Give me 1 second here. I did think that this could happen, so I wrote something down for this.
I'll pull out one shiny Phillips screw to
If
help
they
them
try
out.
to scrounge around all of their diotic metal, fuck them.
So, with all of this, he's going to look and kind of consider. This is a thing that can be done. However, with the limited amount of material that we have, the best that I can do is something of a stopgap. I can repair it, but it will re-break. That is something I don't believe I can help.
So
Wasn't
if we had more, you could
wasn't-
make it so it doesn't break ever?
He looks
Wasn't-
at the pieces. Go
Oh
ahead.
my god, it's a legitimate
No.
question, Miles.
Go ahead.
wasn't
Go
this-
ahead.
the dude's armor that was just like that we just killed? Wasn't that diotic metal too?
There was elements of it, yes, but not
Where did
full.
Where did he acquire it from? Where does any of the diotic metal around here come from?
He turns and looks at Akka and then turns back to you. Diotic metal comes from the upper planes. It is not
I know.
found locally. However, there was a
Storerooms,
reserve
things
supply
like- Mhm.
within a storeroom. I do not know its location, but within this place there is a secondary locker that has, amongst other things, diotic metal.
As he's doing this, I'm pulling out the book and sort of transcribing that into a question of where are these locations that you just said basically located in this area.
So interesting.
So okay, it's not this area, but like in near
Where is the
nearby the Gold
nearest
Forge.
Close proximity.
Yes.
The closest, well, okay. So you write this question. The
Excluding our
celestial-
stuff, because you're gonna fucking do that.
And
I
as
know.
it drifts down, you scribble it in real quick in that part. You can see it waits for a second, and then it drifts down too. Almost like one of those, like, all right, you got it in on time. But as it reemerges, reformed into different celestial, it reads, "You have already been to this place."
God damn it.
Yeah, that's the place.
Yeah,
that-
it was like the safe, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know, but that's so far back.
Listen, depending on what you need this for, and it is an item of some power, so perhaps you do want to use it for longer, I can fix it enough to be usable for a brief period of time. And then perhaps once we've removed ourselves from this situation, we could do further repairs elsewhere. That will require a special site. I do know of one. It is not one that I imagine we should travel to. But perhaps there are others.
We
kinda
traveled
like the
here.
Gold Forge.
Well, if you would like to return to the burning continent that I arrived from, you are welcome to go, but I will not
I
travel
don't
there.
even want to be here.
When you say burning. No, I'm just kidding.
On fire, as in flames on the top, inside, and I hear underneath.
Sounds unpleasant.
So if we repair it in this manner right now, it will be stable enough to hold its shape but not be used, correct?
Oh, it can be used.
Well,
But each time that you use it, there is a chance that it will break.
right, but stable if unused.
Correct.
So easier to carry and conceal than in that. And I gesture to the lantern of glowing materials.
His like heavy gloves, he shakes it and just kind of go back and forth, and the metal itself like heats a little bit more. Yes, and it wouldn't burn quite as badly.
Right. Well, with time
do
and
it.
things to still do, this seems the best option. So I would say, yeah.
Do it. Do it.
I do require about 30 minutes
I can
for
help.
this. His eyes narrow. I doubt that. But perhaps you could guard the door.
I'd like to watch, if that's okay. They
Make a
can,
pers-
they
make
can
a-
watch.
Make a
they
persuasion
can
check.
Watch the door.
We'll get the door.
You can get the door. I want to watch.
Okay, fine. I'll get the door.
Persuasion. That's a 15.
Listen, kid, you're a little too old to be teaching these things to. It takes many years of education to be able to do even the basics.
I can do
We
the
are in a-
basics.
Sure, you can. There is more to artificing than smithing.
I'm gonna
Turns and takes the
magical
hammer.
tinkering, do something really cool with my calligraphy brush that's
So,
very distinctly Thazarak.
All of you watch as Akka looks up and begins to carve this beautiful thing in the air. And as he looks down, he's already turned his back, as I just said he was, and is like working. And this thing just falls apart in the air.
Ah!
No, that's
Clang,
mean.
clang. And over his shoulder, he says, If you would like to watch, I will not stop you, but I do not believe you can keep up. Bam! As a slam
Prove them
stab.
wrong.
Ting! This flare of fire, blue, up from the forge. With that swing, for all of you watching, you can see the fire does take on these calligraphy-like shapes. And just vanish. Ting! Again and again. What are you all doing over the course of this half hour?
I'm trying to
Watching, and this is
learn
really,
whatever
really
I
cool, so I'm
can
going to be like
from
purring
him.
about it really loud.
Okay, you begin to watch, and suddenly you think for a second you hear these arms beginning to move down, but it's just Morwen purring.
I'm
Heinrich,
gonna
what are you doing?
go. So the only way to quote unquote guard the door is to just like hang out by the button, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
As far
so
as-
I'll just hang out by the button, and if it starts to move, I'll push it, and there'll be like a nice back and forth battle.
Okay, so you stand by the button, ready to go.
Yeah,
Shay, what are you
it's
doing?
it's like two light switches at either end of the hallway, and one person turns it on, the other person turns it off, and
Oh,
you're just
good.
sort of like,
You're that. Great.
Alternating between watching and guarding, kind of like a slow pace between.
So every now and then you watch as Shay kind of drifts back and forth. And for Shay, very slow. This is a half an hour process. But with each clang, you could sorry.
if it's half an hour during that time, I'm going to ask the book where I'm just gonna get fucking their name down. I think I wrote their name down beforehand.
Okay.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Kuthar, Valchrysix,
Yep.
Arcona.
Kuthar.
Kuthar.
I guess I didn't write down. So Kuthar, I'm gonna ask the book, where does Kuthar reside?
Okay.
In Darkholm? That's the name of the city, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So where does Kuthar reside in Darkholm?
So that, as that celestial comes in and vanishes, it drifts back up. Sorry. Kuthar's workshop is on the eastern slope of the Black Vein. Of the Black Vein Hill. It drifts a little bit, and then because you had asked this previously, I believe it adds the northernmost tip of the upper blade is the quickest route to reach this site.
Northernmost tip of the upper blade?
Yep. And you would remember the way that this place is structured, the neighborhoods are carved up almost as if this is one massive sword going down.
Okay, and then said eastern slopes of the Black Vein Hills.
Yep.
I mean, okay. How did I get it to draw me like a line through the rat tunnels before?
You asked it to.
Oh yeah, can you draw me a line in the shape of a map? The path to Kuthar's workshop from where I am. Even if it's just like, right, left, right, that's,
Okay. These celestial glyphs vanish beneath, and they reappear. For the sake of argument, I'll assume that you meant where Kuthar lives, not where she is currently, like at
Right.
the second.
Exactly. No, yeah, like where she resides, basically.
Yeah. And so suddenly, instead of glyphs reemerging, it's as if water or like ink is being applied on the bottom of the page and it bleeds through to the top. And slowly, this little map, and you recognize parts of it, little elements of Darkholm swim into view, this curved arc that you'd walked around previously. You can see elements of the little exchange market that you had seen. You see the sort of violent, sort of fighting pit that you had passed. Which on this map is pretty deep, but you see it zig and zag, almost tracing your route back, and then it veers off pretty substantially and seems to descend. You can see the page turns by itself, and the secondary floor appears. You can see elements of what is called the upper blade. This path zigs and zags, and you see it go to what looks like a topographical map of a hill that drops down into a liver of lava, a river of lava. and it circles sort of the top of this hill. You can
Okay.
see this jagged shape that appears to be maybe the outline of a structure.
So
A
with
very jagged shape.
my journal in one hand, this book in the left, I'm just like retracing it just to
Sure.
have it.
Yeah, no
And
problem.
I'm just marking that I have the path from where we're currently is, so at least I have orientation
Yeah,
on that.
no problem.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. That's all 3 questions today.
This half hour goes by minute, and those of you watching, watch with every swing of the hammer, these calligraphy marks swirl out of the fire. These blue sparks become almost brushstrokes, and you can see on the scales these small carvings begin to glow from within. Almost impossible to see at first, but you can see draconic inspired, almost like tattoos of the scales that have been whittled in, and some of them flare to life with these calligraphy like brushstrokes. And Akkad, you would recognize a few of them. And actually, Akka, I would say just because you are an artificer, you get the sense looking at his back, you can actually see the infusions that he has active. At the moment, you would imagine somewhere there is a plate mail helm that has mind sharpener applied to it. You'd imagine that there is a horn of blasting hung up somewhere. And then probably he has some bracers of defense. And from this, you would imagine that at some point when this Dragonborn is fully equipped, he's probably a juggernaut. But looking at him right now, a lot smaller than a lot of the other Dragonborns that you've met previously, or that the other members of the party have met previously.
I think I've probably met a few in.
You've met literally one. Dragonborn are very rare. You guys have met a few of them. They're a lot more common than tabaxi. They've been seen, and their legacy, especially on the West Coast, is not very popular. I mean, they were the Holy Roman Empire of Alberon. You know, they spread further than any other group has ever spread. So history does not look upon them favorably. But as these sparks fly up and as time passes, slowly these individual glowing shards of the breaker begin to coalesce into, at first, just a beam. But slowly each hammer seems to shape it more and more, and these spaces appear. And for Shay and Akka, who know a little bit about this item, you can start to see its shape form. And over the course of a half an hour, Valchrysix the Dragonborn reforges to relative success the breaker. At the course of this half an hour's completion, you can see still cooling on the edge of this forge this sort of strange metal sort of device. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up what it actually is. Formed almost from the elements of the various dwarven nations actually working together, which does not happen very often. The breaker radiates power even as it cools. The metal itself never fully seems to die down from this white glow. Who of you is going to kind of step forward to grab it?
I am.
Okay.
I think I probably would have, and then been like.
So Shay, as you step forward, for all of you, you can see this thing kind of slither and drift out. This necklace almost pulls, and it drifts the full length of this leather cord, almost seeming to be drawn towards it, like a dowsing rod. As you reach forwards, you can feel it pulling your body closer. You grab this item?
I do.
Okay. Your hand curls around it. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
22.
Okay. Are you grabbing it with the same hand that you grabbed the binder with?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So you watch as Shay's hand curls around it, the scars of jagged lightning that formed the first time that she touched this suddenly reignite along the skin itself with this white flame. But Shay, it doesn't hurt. You actually watch your skin flake away with this white fire, but it doesn't hurt. But because it is 10:14, this is where we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll get into what this item actually is. It is 10:14. I believe we have a little countdown that's going to be on the bottom right-hand side of your screen or somewhere on the bottom of your screen. When that ends, we'll be right back from our break. But until then, just enjoy the wonderful art and the various bits that you see from the course of our campaign. But we'll see you in just a little bit.
Waving. Waving.
Welcome back to Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition D&D campaign where time travel happens. So we can just jump right back in. When we left off, you had finally, after months of searching and hunting down the Cold Forge, recrafted the Breaker, an artifact that in and of itself is part of the Tri-Ward, a 3-part weapon designed by the original heroes and the original communities to take down the dragons that at one point ruled this planet. You reforge the Breaker, the shaft of pure diotic metal that houses the weapon used. Hang on one second here. Used to destroy or meant to destroy the black dragon known as the Death Mask, Mox Phoenicia. This diotic metal shaft was able to house a destructive force that could be channeled through to create these concussive bursts. Shay and Akka, you two know this. Actually, I think you guys share this with other people. Shay, you now hold in your hand the Breaker. You can feel within it a very familiar feeling, and it almost draws it out of you. It's something that you've been tried is a strong word. Within the Xinyi, something that you've been encouraged to work on is your temper. It is something that can quickly rise to the surface. And something about the Breaker pulls that forwards just a little bit. And as you hold it, you can still feel the binder almost drawn to this item. It is taut against your neck, just kind of pulling towards it. Within this, you feel something striving to get out, not just within the binder, but within the Breaker too. And you would imagine every time that you utilize this in the way that it's meant to be used, there's a pretty good chance that it's going to break. So use it wisely. That being said, once you attune to this item, you will know a little bit more about it.
Okay.
For current purposes, it counts as a quarterstaff.
Okay.
So, holding on to this item, what would you like to do?
Okay.
What else is in this room?
So, looking around at this room, you can see, like directly in front of where you all kind of are gathered around this table, the Cold Forge is directly behind you. There's like a little hammer kind of hung up on that. There's a barrel full of water that's off to one side. And then holding this platform up above the lava, there are 3 massive chains. And it's just kind of suspended. But when I say chains, I mean each link is close to 5 feet long.
Okay. So there's not a whole bunch of things I can steal.
If you want, there is a crate on the table. It's open and there's not much in it. You can see some tools and stuff, but you can make an investigation check and see what you can take.
You know I do.
Go for it.
Match X.
6.
You find a pair of tongs. You find some bits of kind of loose gravel.
I take the dirt.
Okay. You can add a handful of gravel to your
Pocket gravel.
Pocket
And
gravel.
I'm just like, put it in my pocket. Cold
see-
forge gravel.
Well, Christ's turn. You know, they do make stone elsewhere.
Ah, yeah, but this is cold forge gravel. You got a baggie for these? For these? It crumbles.
It's like falling out of your hand. He looks down at the loincloth that he is clad in. At the moment, I find myself a little short on things to carry, but best of luck.
Oh, it's okay. I probably got one.
On that note,
I'm looking back. I've got an empty jar from
I'm
some
going to
pine leaf.
turn to Akka and pass him the bag of gold that I took from Gunter's body.
What? How much gold is this and why?
Payment. You were hired, were you not?
Shay's
Now, if you
deep
want.
misunderstanding of money.
I love it.
I'm
It's
not
very
gonna
appropriate.
Say no.
How much gold is that?
It was 261 gold pieces and 78 platinum.
I want to just point out you're being paid a gold piece a day, and Shay just paid you for like 3 years.
How much platinum?
78?
78.
Holy
Jesus.
shit. Yeah, that sounds about right. Since that was mine before.
Wow, it meta returned to you finally.
Yeah, it only took several real world months, and in game you died like 2.5 weeks ago, so it took a little time, but it got there.
Like, okay, were you always planning on paying me this? Or was the 1 gold was a joke? Good good one.
Well, Cry6 looks around. So I
Well,
built.
so I was talking to him while that was going on,
Oh,
or at
sure,
least
yeah.
was planning on. So it's
Go
not
for
like we're always
So
just
as this is happening,
one-lining at each other.
Yeah, he doesn't fix the breaker, and then just like someone else gets paid a fuck.
Nice. I told you could do it. Oh, damn, you won the bet. So yes, obviously you didn't travel here on some ship like that, and we saw prisoners being brought in here before. Is your equipment stored nearby, or was it taken from you elsewhere? I don't know.
I believe it is still stored within the locker on that ship.
Would you be able to direct us to that ship?
Certainly.
Did you know of a different way of getting in here, by the way, or is it just that one ridiculous path with ice and locks?
This place has been purposefully sealed off from the original pathways. You can still enter, I would imagine, through a main route. I only traveled here through that pathway against my will. I do not know so much about the other routes into it.
Fair enough.
How long have you been here?
I'm sorry?
How long have you been here?
It depends. What day is it?
What day is it?
We have been underground for two sleep cycles. So my best guess would be whatever I know 3 or 4 days ago to be.
Well,
Plus that time.
Sometime
by
in
my
possibly.
best estimation, just a little bit over 2 weeks.
Oh.
Sounds about right.
All right.
Oh, you've been here for like years. Makes me feel
No.
better.
I have
You
a
can stay a little
question.
longer. No, just kidding.
Does the gray lady mean anything to you?
He considers that for a second. I've heard this person spoken of by Arconum, but not much.
Do
I
you
know that
know?
she was at one point a member of a ruling group here.
Do you know what Arconum and the rest of the Tholdor were attempting
Yes.
with Cold Forge? He had mentioned some of it when I was, well,
And part of
Hard
why I
maybe.
am so eager to leave. You see, deep beneath the ground, there is a region known as the Underdark. Are any of you familiar with this place?
Uh-huh. At this point.
Not a safe place to journey, but it has gotten much more dangerous recently. There is a figure that has risen. Those of you familiar with history may know of him, Zystris, a mind flayer. No.
Does this is ringing some bells for me.
Make a history check.
Is it related to what's been going on in the West?
Yes.
Because that's kind of, I think, where, after all this is said and done, we may be headed. I think, I'm not sure.
Again, what was that history check?
We just got here to get here.
21? Yes.
Again.
So, Akka, I'll get into the extra stuff that you know about this in just a second, but Valchrysis does say, long ago there was a being beneath these sands or stone that enslaved this group. The Thuldor were not rulers then, but they are old, and their memory is long, and they have no wish to return to the control of these beings. Zystris was sick. I do not know with what, but as his body failed, he needed to seal himself away. He created an elaborate tomb designed to weed out bodies that would not be suitable vessels. If he has escaped, that means somebody has penetrated to that place and freed him for some reason. He seeks to reach godhood, not something that any of us would hope to see. But he walks beneath this ground and gathers followers and gathers strength. The Thuldor mean to defend this new home against him.
Why would you want this Cold Forge destroyed then?
Because if he can use it, that means in addition to the incredible mental prowess that he possesses, he will have access to a means for creating an unfathomable number of magical items that he could then equip legions of undead followers with.
That felt like a dumb question after the fact, yeah.
If it makes you
Curiously-
feel any better, it was done before as well.
Right, for them to use it too.
Get used to it.
Sure.
So, interestingly enough, Deep Singers and the Grey Lady and all of this stuff were, I think, descendants or somehow affected by the previous Mind Flayer or Flayers that
Yes.
ruled here.
The Grey
She
Dwarf
probably wouldn't. She probably wouldn't be too happy to see him return, and we have a task we were seeking to complete.
Well, I'm
For
sure
her.
that she knows of Zystris, and I'm sure that she knows of his return.
Yes.
Or, as you said, their time in captivity did change them.
Right.
The Grey Dwarves are resistant to the things that the Mind Flayers have done. They cannot be controlled by charms. They cannot be illusioned away so easily. They're resistant to magic for their time in that captivity.
Right. And so all of them not wanting to see this person return. That sounds like a potentially good ally to have.
Perhaps. The Grey Dwarves are not kind.
No.
Their time in captivity did make them cruel, and they are difficult to engage in that regard, but perhaps.
Correct. But
For
we do
what
have
it
the
is that
inn
I-
on. We do have an inn with the Grey Lady, at least, if we complete something that she was trying to have us do for her.
Oh yeah, Miss Renlin.
Okay, well,
And I'm just
they
letting you
can-
know because we may have a little more to do than just get straight out of here. That's all. That was where I was getting to.
Ah. Well, I am at the moment tied to your fate as well. So, whatever it
Let's
is
get
that you
your
need to
stuff
do,
back. Let's get
that
your
would
stuff back
be-
first.
incredibly helpful to all of us.
Could you guide
Shall
us to the ship?
Yes. Shall we?
Yes.
Let me use my boop 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 pearl of power, because that recharged. Re-up. All right, everyone gather around. I think I have enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, plus myself, because 5th level. Perfect. I can do that. So 2nd to 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yes. I can do it for everyone here. And that's it. Invisibility. Let's go.
Okay. So all of you kind of gather in and just are now invisible again. He turns and looking around says, "There is one problem with this plan. I have no idea where any of you are.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Just let's see here. You comfortable with like holding shoulders or like a rope tied to someone else or something like that?
All
we
you
won't, we
hear
won't
is a
tie
long,
you.
you hear a
but-
long sigh is all the response you get.
Well, look. I mean, how would you better do it? It's better that we can't be seen, because that's how we got here, quite effectively.
I agree. I
So?
just don't like being tied up. But
No, you're not being tied. Just you use your hand to hold the rope, and someone else will hold the other one. And we've all done this enough that we kind of know roughly where each other is as well.
a couple seconds go by, and then you hear, "Are you giving me the rope, or?"
I was just waiting for you to agree to it. Perfect. Fine. All right. I'll pull out a rope and I'll be like, I'll tether to him, I suppose.
As you go to pull out the rope, you kind of collide with his hand. You realize he's just been holding his hand out this whole time.
Perfect.
But you grab the rope It takes a couple tries, but you get it into his hand. You
All right.
all now see this rope floating in the air. And
What?
easy enough.
It was
you
on
can
my
grab onto
equipment.
it. Oh, it was on your equipment. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It didn't just pull it off the ground.
One by one, you have this rope like pushed into your hands until you're all very kindergarten style holding onto this rope with your teacher, Mr. Valchrysix, up at the front.
All
This
right, we're ready,
dragonborn.
Mr. B.
Photo teacher?
You hear? Oh
It's
man!
literally the name of photo teacher for our high school.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Ali
It's
and
ironic
Malik and I
we're
all went to high
invisible.
school together. But you guys begin to travel, led by Mr. B.
Born.
He pulls
Dragon
you
born.
across this pathway,
Born. Dragonborn.
and you begin to progress. And you have a bit of a stealth check, because you will be passing some Durgar activity here.
At advantage to the invisible, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. That negates my disadvantage, and I've still been rolling okay. I got a 17.
Okay.
I did too, but that makes mine a 33.
Because of your expertise, because you...
Whoa. Exactly.
Yeah.
To put it scientifically.
Yeah. That's what the player handbook says.
Shay?
22.
Okay. And Aka?
Mine's a 14.
Okay. Okay. You guys are fairly quiet. And for what it's worth, Valchrysix is very quiet.
Was not wearing any armor.
I was going to say, it definitely helps that he's not where you got
Pretty
to roll
much
an
naked.
advantage. But you guys begin to walk. You travel back the way that you came, here and there using some techniques that you've picked up. Using the spikes to cross the ice and getting to that cold room. That's the first place that you begin to find some of these dwarves. There's 3 of them positioned by the door. But with that stealth check, no problem. You guys can kind of go up the side steps and then kind of curl around them and go back. There's no conversation. They seem like there is a general kind of grumpy, it's almost like angry air to this. And you would imagine they were probably scolded by Kuthar as she left. But they are very set and they stare straight forward waiting. You walk by them without an issue. You come to this door, pass through, kind of sliding through almost like a foot gap. You enter into this, the original place that you guys had this kind of combat, this checkpoint. Is there anything that you guys are doing along this way?
I don't think so. We didn't
Okay.
leave anything behind that we needed. We didn't unlock or figure out the arcane rooms, and there's nothing, or those object rooms, and there's also no reason to try while there's people in there.
Sure. Okay. So you guys follow, and the path, for the most part, stays the same until you get to the actual city itself. You do trace your way back a little bit through those paths, and you can see now the street's a little bit quieter. The people out no longer just citizens. You can see a pretty heavy number of these Duragar wearing cloaks that are embroidered with a spider, the sort of symbol of the army that crawls. This kind of the local...
Kalvraki.
Well, the Kalvraki are a unit type within the army that crawls, but yeah, the army is the army that crawls, and the Kalvraki are the cavalry of that. But you can sense a sort of energy in the air that's a little bit different. There's patrols that move through, but with that stealth check in particular, you guys are fine. You make it to this alleyway that you had seen a guard at previously, nowhere to be seen now. Valchrysix leads you through this alleyway, and you begin to make your way through these back channels that you had not previously seen. Not quite alleyways, but there are reminiscent in ways of the rat tunnels. They're probably added after the fact, and probably not for the best reasons. They seem to be almost like smugglers' tunnels, perhaps, but you make your way through. And before too long, you emerge onto an area that you had seen previously and kind of gotten up to. Let me just find it real quick. You emerge out and into this area. You can hear water somewhere nearby. 1 second here. I gotta go all the way back to session 81. You come out. You come out into a point between these two sort of elements of gray brick. And there are doorways on the other side that would indicate that you are between buildings. But at the moment, just give me a second here. At the moment, you can see out and in front of you, there are a number of kind of these doorways set into a wall that has been carved to form almost like a step, although it is about 8 feet tall. And then there is other sets of doors and these stairs that go onto those. And they form a little bit more like Kol Ram, almost these sort of rising balconies that build on top of each other. It's fairly quiet. These structures a little bit darker. This doesn't feel like a lived-in section, but you can see off into the east, down below, more elements that seem a little bit busier. That seems to be like the actual Darkholm proper, where people have actually inhabited. This seems to be something that's been elements of maybe a long lost structure, something that was used by the dwarves and not this set of individuals. I would say Akka, none of you really have a background that would kind of indicate what this is, but you see elements that at some point might have been a wheel. You see water was brought in at one point, although it is now dry. There are these like cistern-like structures that you can see through the broken walls that are empty, but probably held liquids at one point. He leads you through this, and you kind of take a moment in this structure. He stops. It's probably been close to like 45 minutes now. Is there anything that you guys are doing?
Is it private enough?
Yeah, it's pretty private.
It's been 45. Only got 15 left. Might as well just take the moment to recast it, I guess.
So in this kind of space, you can hear Velchrysix's voice where he says, listen, from here it is a pretty straight shot, and we've done the sneaking that we probably need to do.
Oh. Then I won't
Assuming that
hear
nothing
what he's
is
saying.
within the actual docks themselves. Red River Run is not commonly frequented because of the fact that it passes through the glacial dredge, but if there is resistance, I imagine you will have no trouble with it.
Hmm.
You made your way here. You saw the steeders and the sort of soldiers that rode them.
Mm-hmm.
You can handle them, I would assume, if you could handle Arconum. As sneaky as it was.
Well, you should have seen the first time we fought him.
You've said something of that, and I do have questions about it, but let's...
We do too, but that's again
Yeah,
later.
we don't have answers.
All right.
This ability, I imagine, should end fairly soon.
Correct, yes.
When we do...
Can we like get a sense actually, like perception wise, what lays ahead?
Yeah, make a
Is
perception
there like
check.
a lookout, or is there like a...
The walls are so damaged in the structure, you can kind of like just peer through and see elements through. But yeah, make a perception check.
Why is it always me?
You're the one that asks.
Oh. Dirty 20.
Okay.
Not bad. I grunted, but nice.
Get your
18.
face close. You grunt because you got to really squat down.
I
It's
guess
tough with
that's
those
true.
old knees. But you look through these elements of broken stone, and you can see peeking out through. The street itself rises up. You're on the kind of lower level of the street, rises up. There's higher buildings that are a little bit kind of damaged. And then beyond that, kind of below, you see stairs. One of you, I believe, had actually seen these stairs previously. There is a little sign that reads to Red River Run. It's probably about 100 feet. You have to go over this hill or over this like raised section of the street. That's like 50 feet, and then the 50 feet down, and then you can see there is like a doorway of stone and then stairs that lead down. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of activity here. And actually, if you guys were to just kind of speed walk, you could probably make it before invisibility runs out.
Save my few spell slots. That's what I think we'll do.
Okay.
Speed walk.
Dog or not.
All right. Hold on to the rope. We're going to walk quickly. Once we get through that door, we should be fairly safe. Any encounter or any resistance that we encounter will be alone and isolated.
Perfect.
He pulls. You all feel this rope pull. And as you walk, he leads you up the stairs and out what was a front door at one point, now kind of like a ruined archway. You exit out and onto the street and begin to walk up the slope to the middle section. You crest the top and kind of looking, you can see far off to your right, there are a few Durgar that are kind of milling about and doing their daily activities. You can see they seem to be traveling somewhere. Don't seem to notice you. You make your way over the other side and down and into the stone steps that go down. And already you can feel a little bit of humidity, a little bit of a chill, like a raw chill that would come from running water. Shay, you can hear the running water. And as you guys begin to progress down the stairs, all of you quickly can hear this. And it is a little bit colder. This, okay. This is session 76. So as you begin to progress down the staircase, it goes from a simple set of carved stone and it begins to curve and gradually spread out. You take 30 steps down and you realize the stairs now almost like 15 feet wide, still set for dwarves, so fairly short, but you begin to walk down. About 30 feet in, the point of this pillar emerges through the staircase, and you're now circling a pillar of basalt. Little shelves have been carved out, and on each one, small pieces of sea glass have been placed. Slowly, you drop another 50 feet until you reach the end of this staircase, and you can hear all of you this river. Straight ahead, you can see there's about 30 feet of stone and a long, thin set of docks. There are a lot of ships here that are burnt. And here, probably only about, it's gotten steadily colder as you walk away from the source of heat. And so here you can see on the ships, everybody make a perception check as you get here.
There we go. That's my normal 2. I'm sorry, 9.
There you go.
That seems right.
17.
Okay.
23.
30?
30? So for most of you
A
looking
lot.
around here, Heinrich, it's kind of dark here, and with the cold sort of fog that's beginning to drift off, because there is running water. It's slow running. It's like a trickle that you can see, although the river itself is quite wide. Shay, you see a lot. You see many of the other ships that are in these docks are badly burnt. And they are not empty, though those who are aboard are no longer alive. You see frozen, blackened corpses, skin still attached and kind of frozen on. And now that you can see it, you can almost smell long ago the sort of faded smell of burnt hair, maybe burning meat as well. As you look down, you're recognizing now, and some of the rest of you are seeing this as well. It looks as if people fled at one point, like they were running towards where you are now. Shay, you look down and there is a charred stump on the ground, long, burnt, and cold. It's a fossil, almost like Pompeii. There's like this person kind of shriveled and darkened and with just a thin layer of ice over top of them. You all smell this cold, damp, charred wood heavy in the air as well. Shay, with your perception check, you do see that there are a few functional craft here. You see 2 of them. One of them is like a riverboat. You can see it's like a flat top and similar to ships that you've crafted, actually. Flat bottomed and meant to be on shallow water. It kind of drifts, and every now and then you hear it tap into a burnt craft to the side of it. The other craft that you can see immediately to all of you, is the one that you're looking for. This craft is almost like a serpent. You can see rising out of the water, metal, sort of rectangular, almost like beads, but large. And they rise out. You can see almost like the top of a serpent. You see like 4 or 5 segments along. On the top of the largest, there is like a hatch that you would turn to open. There's also a side hatch that is almost half submerged in the water. You you can see Valchrysix kind of nods at this one. This is the craft that I arrived on. It is the one that I think would be best to travel out of here in, but if you can find something else, I'm happy to take that as well. Are any of you especially good at traveling by water? Mechanically speaking, are any of you...
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I laugh out loud.
Yes.
So you may be the best choice to pilot this craft. Have you used coal stone flow submersibles before? This is, I believe... A second here. I believe this is what is known as an Ilharn submersible.
Have I?
No.
Didn't
No.
think so.
Is it similar to the one
Yes.
that we
No,
saw
just kidding. I don't say yes.
many, well, Gunter and gang would have seen? I think this was back at Port Quinn.
You mean the one that Bernal was piloting?
The one that it was a group of stone-flowed dwarves.
No, so that was a Dwarven
a regular
Ironside.
ship.
Yeah, the Krogramash, the Miner's Demise, is a Dwarven Ironside's regular ship for coal stone flow. There are not ships like this elsewhere in the world. It is the only way that you can access coal stone flow by these ships. It looks similar in terms of the mechanical design of it. It is made out of metal, and but outside of that, it's markedly different in its function. You can also see in the middle segment of it, there is a propeller in the air, and then you see the tops of two of them. So you'd imagine there are four of them that power this craft. And given the different segments, you'd imagine it probably slithers as it moves. Well, this is your lucky day then. This is as cutting edge as aquatic craft get.
Yay.
It is powered by a hydrolysis drive that both generates oxygen and power. As long as the craft moves, it can stay beneath.
Cool.
As I said previously, it is not comfortable. It is designed to transport captives, such as myself. There is a single seat for a pilot in the front, and then benches for up to six quite uncomfortably in the back.
It's okay. Here.
Well,
Make it
it's
a little
okay.
bit more comfortable for you, and I take out the red pillow I stole from a really long time ago. And
Okay, he takes the pillow and looks at it and kind of nods. Thank you. For you,
You're
this will
welcome.
be a perfectly comfortable journey. You will be steering. You enter, and he points towards the top hatch there. The rest of us gestures to the side hatch. Through this one.
Right. And this is for when we're leaving.
Correct.
Good.
Which
Good.
is what I
You're gonna-
thought we were doing.
No, I think
No,
I.
They have
stuff right now. We
unfinished
got stuff.
business.
yeah, we got
Well.
other stuff to do.
Either way,
Remember
give me a
Qatar?
moment and I do. I would like to retrieve my equipment. So he clambers up to the top and begins to climb to the top hatch. Anybody doing anything in the meantime?
I'm gonna inspect it. Is this actually something that I can handle?
Make an investigation check.
Okay. I mean, I have experience. I just don't know.
I think I
What
would
this,
just check the
compares
inside
to.
of the
All right,
other
17. That's not too
space.
bad for
Make an investigation
me.
check, Aka. You
Sorry.
said what was it? What was yours, Morwen? 23?
Mine. No, 17.
17. Okay.
See how
Okay.
uncomfortable it actually is going to be. That was a 24.
24. Okay. So, Morwen, you begin to kind of look up and down this craft. It's complex. Specifically, you go up to the front of it. You can see this large glass-looking viewport, and within you can see a big leather chair. Actually, for you, small, but for a dwarf, quite big. Designed to steer it. There's a whole series of levers that are in front of it. You can see what looks like almost like a pilot's yoke. You can see a number of switches on top. Very complex. You've sailed ships before. This is way outside of your kind of comfort zone. And then you see other like items in there that you have no idea what they do, but they look complicated and they look pretty shiny.
I take the
Aka.
boat. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. It's stuff in the pocket.
Put it in your
Okay.
pocket.
You open up the side hatch. Water kind of pours into the bottom on the floor, and you'd imagine it's almost designed to do that. Like it's going to be uncomfortable. But there are these steel benches along the side. There is little else, and you would imagine even just with 4 people in the back, with a dragonborn and you in full armor, it's going to be a tight squeeze. And looking at the segments, the benches have like joints. This whole thing probably slithers, and so you are going to be being kind of tossed. You can see there are like straps to secure yourselves to these benches. It won't be very comfortable.
I just kind of sigh and shut the door again.
Well, I'm gonna venture down. Mr. B.
So you can see he is now dropped into the hatch. He looks up and there's his chest open. You can see beautiful pieces of scale mail armor within. But he looks up.
Good for him.
Yes.
Wait, so if you know all so much about this boat, you able to drive this? Because it's a little different than the ones that I have sailed before.
I know mostly about it from another dwarf that was taken captive at the same time as me. He hailed from Stoneflow. I don't know how to
Let's go
drive
get
it.
him. If we
Well-
just freed all the captives and then like put more people on this boat.
If you are serious about retrieving him, I'm sure that he has been taken somewhere within Darkholm.
Oh, that narrows it down. All right. Well, we got other stuff to do anyway, right? Before we slither.
Right.
I don't want Miss Runelin to be mad at me. We're friends.
She's not your friend.
Yeah, but I like signed the friendship contract on that fellow.
It's not a friendship contract.
I'm
It's like
sorry.
the
Did you
opposite.
sign something that you called a friendship contract with somebody known as the Grey Lady?
Yes, they
Well,
did.
maybe that's how you know her.
And it's
we're
not
kind
a
of on a
friendship
first name
contract.
basis.
It's a
No, I'm
living
aware.
in
Yes.
blood.
That seems like probably something of an infernal variety. Well, maybe traveling together isn't the best plan, but we do need to escape, and so I will stick around for that. What are we doing? Do you really need to go back? Is that something that you intend to do?
I don't.
Well, we haven't destroyed the Cold Forge yet. So we still need to do that.
Which is great, and maybe we can return and do that at some point. But if you have an army hidden somewhere in which to wage war with the Dark Dwarves, now would be a good time to activate it.
Shouldn't
It's already here.
should the
No? Okay.
He turns and looks
that's
at you. and
actually
turns
not
back
the
away.
worst idea. That's actually not the worst idea.
You
I'm
want
sorry.
me to fight him?
We have an entire city that loves us. Well, loves,
Oh.
question mark, us. Kol Taram. Are you familiar with Kol Taram?
I have heard of it. I'm not from Dominion, but yes.
Right. So you came straight from this burning continent here.
Make a persuasion check.
It's a mediocre one. 17.
How much do you know about the Fazarakian Scald?
I know a bit since I know some of the
Well, I
Thazarakian
know about
techniques.
these things as he's
Nice to say
talking.
it.
Yeah.
As he's talking, I'm like, well, I know about these things, and I pull out the Arcana tiles.
Ah,
I'm just like,
sort
Oh
of
yeah,
a
and
cheap-
then Akka too.
He turns and looks at Akka. Look, I understand that you know some party tricks. I can see your armor. But as I said, building blocks do not an artificer make.
Oh, cruel.
Yes. Hang on one sec. That just
Question
ran my
was,
brain for a
the
second.
question was what, like, did you come straight here
Ah.
from the burning continent?
And you rolled a 17, right?
Yeah.
The Fazarakian Scald was the greatest empire ever to exist on this planet. It was ruled by the greatest creatures ever to exist on this planet. The dragons. And they have returned. And for those of us who still hold true to the Scald, this is a joyous time to be alive. There are weapons that can change the course of this thing. You hold 2 of them, apparently. This may set us at odds down the line, but for the moment,
I was gonna
I
say.
do need to get out.
Look, we did save you, so okay. I'll hold my judgment. Stranger things have happened than people at ends with each other at the beginning of it, coming out on the same side at the end of it.
Hey, since you're Dragonborn, are you like cousins with the big ones?
We descend from them, yes.
Ah, it's
And
cool.
so our abilities and our lineage can be traced to individuals.
While he was saying that, I'm just gonna quick shoot over to Morwen and be like, "Don't mention we killed a dragon."
I asked because of these skate. No. Did you know him?
You know where?
Either of them.
Yeah. Do you know
Maybe
this
got
guy?
the eyeball. No, it's kidding. All right. Yeah. Cool. Talk about a family reunion, right? I don't know if I can handle one of those. Let's go do stuff.
Look, as far as I know, there was no time limit on our contract.
Hey,
Correct?
Jar.
You're
I didn't
talking
read
to me, the DM? or
No, just to like the group.
Okay.
Not at sorry, I have to say it, Mr.
Valkyrie
B.
6.
Valkyrie 6. Well, because now it's just like that's a name I know and that's stuck in
Sure,
my head
yeah,
now.
that's great. Thanks, Ellie.
No, there's no. You can't put a time on friendship.
I turned to Shay who signed it too. It's like there was no time window. So if we need
I
to
don't believe
leave and
so.
actually gather a force, which is really we have maybe means for that.
You're gonna send another city to
Look,
come
you
and
weren't
do
there,
your
but we
dirty
saved
work
Kulturam,
when we
and
had
they kind
one of them literally right in an isolated area.
It's not about her as much as it is about getting everyone out of there, right? Taking it over or forcing them out or whatever.
It was pretty clear with the contract that you signed.
Nah, so there was an optional save her or bring her if we can.
No,
Believe
that,
me, I signed it.
that was specifically, I think that was with the contract that I did not sign, right? So
Right.
you wouldn't have known about that.
You did tell them about that. You told them that it served your purposes to keep Kuthar alive. That's what you have told them.
But our contract was just get rid of the.
And either
Bringing
way,
an army back down here is going to be much more difficult.
not to mention that you're going to be dragging an entire city into this mess that you've made with the Grey Lady.
Not to mention, the whole reason that they needed the Cold Forge was to fight an invading force that was on its way. So, yes, perhaps we could gather an army and wage a three-sided war. And
We
I
could just blow up the Cold Forge and then they'll probably leave anyways. They said it would take a month. Or they would only be here for a month.
Have you even considered why the Grey Lady wants them gone? If
No.
they're trying to stop a mind flayer from amassing an army and returning, doesn't it seem a little odd?
If she's on the outs with them, then she's not necessarily on the side of the Mind Flayer.
Not white and black.
No,
You
but
can see Valkrysix considers this and nods and then kind of absently says, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, not too long ago.
But also, what are stranger things that you've heard about? Is at least involving this place, or what did you imply by that?
You had just said stranger things had happened, and so I was repeating the words that you said. It's sort of a way of bonding.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Got it.
It's nice of you.
Got it. All right. Well, blowing up the Cold Forge seems like the best option anyways.
Which would have been easier if we did it while we were there.
Yeah, not really without being
traveling
able to
for
like
an hour.
know if there was anyone like in the way or not. We still can get back there and do it again. And a little bit better prepared with our new friend here who now has armor to protect himself with. Who surely would have perished like he did the last time we did this. Sorry, you died last time.
So he's been putting on his armor this whole time, and he stops for a second and he says, this is the third time that you've said that. What do you mean that this has happened
Yeah,
before?
I don't know actually. And I just kind of turn over to Morwen. Something happened with you.
Like me when I turned to stone.
No, apparently we will, I guess. Given that it just saved us.
I don't want to have to try it again.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't blame you, but what happened?
Kind of was like swimming around all of a sudden. And then I saw two elves. And one of them reached down.
Who
And
were
it seemed familiar. I don't really know.
Can you describe them at all?
I described them.
Does that ring any bells? Does it ring any bells to me?
Oh, to you?
It's to everybody. I'll tell everybody. I don't care.
So
I'll
Shay,
tell Mr. B, my new best friend. Everyone.
as Morwen describes these people, what immediately catches your attention is the silver hair. And then as she describes the braids, the staff, you've heard mention of an individual like this before. You've overheard it. It was not mentioned directly to you, but in some of his more lucid moments, Jaruxa had mentioned somebody who seemed to have maybe matched in that description.
No.
That means something to you, Shay? You don't often express visible concern.
It's not someone I know personally. At least, I've never met her.
How would it be that they came to Morwen's aid in this very bizarre space that she apparently existed in?
It's Era's mother. If it's correct, if the descriptions are and they match, she's not originally from here, Alberon.
Well, I've been told the same, so maybe she's my mother too.
Weird.
That's yeah, and that's a whole nother
You can see
covered lid of
Valchrysax
worms.
looking between this human and this tabaxi. He just kind of shakes his head.
Talking about
Okay.
an elf being my mom.
Okay. So, well, that's alarming, but also reassuring. Alarming because that's quite some power to send us back in time, and then reassuring that they're on our side, potentially.
I think it's safe to say my side.
Well, yeah, your side, and maybe by, descent to your side as well, Shay.
Perhaps.
I wish we could reach out to them and have them help us here. I don't think that that's something you could do, though, by the way you're looking right now.
I just the way it happened the first time, I'd rather we don't try
Fair.
that again.
Fair, fine, fair.
I don't want this to be a thing of a way to connect and make friends,
How was it that you were able to do this, Tabaxi?
My guess is just dumb luck.
I don't know. They say black cats are unlucky. Guess they're wrong.
Okay, I'll help out with a little bit of a description that apparently is lacking here. We were engaged in combat with both Kuthar and...
Oh, I didn't realize that's what he was asking.
Okay. Anyways,
No, I thought he was asking
we were fighting, and near the end of the combat, after you had been slain, unfortunately, and the Cold Forge was about to erupt, Morwen here had been turned to stone by some magical staff that Kuthar had, I don't know, shot at.
I know
Turned to
of this
stone.
item that you speak. It's
Right.
Kuthar's big stick.
The big stick, then. Perfect. That's a really awful name for an awful weapon. It turned her to stone, and then that happened. there was light for an instant, and then we were, I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes longer ago, and time just unwound or rewound.
He looks at you, Aka. Child of the third, are you, with your party tricks, able to turn this cat to stone?
They're not party tricks.
So no, then is the answer.
I can do plenty of stuff, but I don't turn things to stone.
Of course not. Well, that is not in my repertoire as well, so that may be outside of our reach for the moment.
You were looking to do a sample test?
But if we want to do something with what's your name? The dwarf that turned me to stone.
Kuthar.
Kuthak. We should turn visible again, my favorite, and take her stick. And we can turn her
That
to
would have been a
stone,
great
see how she
idea when I
likes it.
had her right in front of me and I said Cheeto like 6 times.
I didn't think of it then. I want her stick.
I've seen the stick up close twice. I could not tell you the exact nature of it, but I can tell you there is a chaotic element to it that will make it hard to control. You may be able to use it, but you may not be able to control exactly what it does.
I mean, people say the same about me. I think the stick is perfect for me.
Well,
Actually. Oh, shit.
Lauren with a chaotic stick.
there was oh man. Sometime, Ali, you should look up Wand of Wonder because Morwen almost got that at one point. Or a modified
still
version.
have
so
it.
Use it. Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that moment, actually. Okay. All right. Well, shall we take a short... Actually, in this time, has it roughly been... Because we're just conversing.
It's been about 45 minutes at this point. So if you want to round out another 15 minutes, you could take a short rest for sure.
That would be preferable, because then go right ahead and, we can just invisible down to Kuthar's workshop and deal with her there. Get the stick. Destroy the Cold Forge, and then flee.
So I don't
feel
know how tied into Darkholm you are, but we should have probably just gone there when we were next door. We're
Your
going to
armor.
have to retrace. I am not going to go back. I just escaped.
No, I know, but, bound to service and all that stuff. Or at least aid, not service. Help or something. We're helping you get out of here. You help us just a little bit.
Yeah, because that's definitely part of the contract that you signed is helping him. And
Yeah,
not...
and I've already rebuilt a powerful artifact designed to slay my ancestors, so I feel as if I've contributed a little bit.
Fair enough.
For the record, I didn't sign their contract, and I would like to learn from you.
Why don't you stay here? Because you're every opportunity. You just seem to bring up these things. So you could stay here with him, and we'll go
Excellent.
retrieve the stick, take her down, bring her back, but after we destroy the forge. I think that would make the most sense.
Don't we have a list of people?
No, those are just the people to watch out for.
Uh,
It could be that if we just take them out, then that's the leading groups, and then everyone else would just leave of their own accord, too.
Can we
There's
ask?
two others, aren't
I
there?
don't think there's anyone to ask. Yeah, there's two others, but they seem to reside in that fighting pit area that's right before the entrance to the Cold Forge.
Let's find
Oh,
'em.
you're speaking of the twins.
Yes.
They are rulers by blood, not by desire. So yes, you will find
So-
them pursuing whatever tickles their fancy at the moment.
And is it a safe assumption? I know you've only been here 2 weeks, but if the remaining 3, I believe, leading group
4 minus
individuals would
1
be taken
is
out, they
3.
would all leave?
That I couldn't tell you. But they are highly organized. And so a new leader would arise, and really it would depend on them.
Per your contract, if you remove the 4 Thuldor, then the Grey Lady can take care of the rest. Do you even remember?
No, I don't know how to read.
Wow, more in a minute.
Is that what the contract
Only when
indeed said?
convenient.
Like, honestly, legitimately, personally, like, I don't fucking remember.
No, you didn't write down those?
I wrote down general things because so many things fly at us, so.
Yeah,
In
if
terms
you
of the
get
actual
rid of
contract,
if you get rid
Chaotic
of the
stick.
leaders, then
yeah, I don't actually have that
the
written
Grey
down.
Lady can take care of the rest, right?
So yes, specifically, the contract was to remove or get rid of the Thuldor.
Oh, not the Duergar. I thought it was the Duergar.
No.
As long as you can get rid of the Thuldor.
Oh, well
she
then
can kind of
fucking,
suck
that's
them.
easy mode, quote unquote, easy mode.
Is it?
I mean, we took two
Would've
of them
been-
down, and if the
No,
Cold Forge didn't explode, that would have been a close to
If
clean.
we had taken the one down
Yeah,
again,
let's
then
remember
we had
though
the
how it
chance.
went the first. I mean, I'm just saying.
No, when we got sandwiched, that was the
Game.
bad part.
How
One at a
I'm
time.
not saying it's gonna be easy because we kind of did get like you're welcome, by the way.
The more
Cool.
we talk
I don't know
about
how
it,
to
the
spell
more
Thuldar.
angry I am at you both for not just doing.
Yeah, whatever. In the
The
past,
best,
let's keep going.
the best thing about that is that over the course of the last like hour, it's been everybody slowly realizing, shit, we probably should have just killed Kuthar.
But we can't kill her because didn't she want her, or is that not signed?
That was
'Cause
the
that's the part that's getting
that was
confusing
the
to me now.
secret hidden contract that I had with her
Yeah,
that
gotcha.
I didn't sign,
I see.
but I haven't said that to anyone.
Okay,
I've just
so that's
said,
never
like,
actually been public
It would
knowledge. So then,
behoove us to keep her alive
gotcha.
because I was going to try and take her alive, but then you
Gotcha.
guys didn't do the thing.
Okay,
That's
well,
fine.
maybe just turn
We can
back
still-
into the guard guy, and we'll go back, and we'll just redo it.
That's true. We could use you again just to get through easily while we're
You're
invisible
right,
behind you.
Baka. We should have. Can we just do the same thing again? Dragonborn, we'll need you to play another the act again. We'll write out the script, not me. I can't write.
The last time that we tried a plan, I just want to remind everyone, and especially you, Elf, that they didn't
What are you
do.
reminding
anything.
me? I know. I've dealt with them for the last
Hello. Our plan was to rescue you too, and we did
We
that.
even signed the contract, and I've done all of the killing for you.
And for that, we
I've
are
done all
grateful.
of the planning
Look,
too.
Look, I get it. It's fine.
would
Okay.
be- you would
Here's the
all
thing.
be,
Here's the thing. You've been
enthralled-
paid. You've been paid for your services. If you have such a problem, you may leave or you may continue to help or join us. That's just one of the things. It seems like at this point,
Right.
you can make up your own mind and we'll
You
do
seem
something
to
else. I guess.
selectively withhold information from the people that you're trying to get help from.
What?
Huh?
Do you not remember the part of the contract that specifies what you need to do with our friend here?
I already told you no. I don't remember. I personally don't remember the
See, you
contract because
sh-
it was never sent to me in an email, which that's
You
okay.
should just know
Yeah, I think
these
that's the
things. You
answer to that.
signed
I
a
think that's
contract
okay.
on the back of a enthralled, tortured soul. That's
We're
something
we're
that holds a
crossing-
lot of weight. I don't know
Yeah.
how many contracts that you've signed like that, but that's not something that you can just kind of,
No, I've never signed one before. This was the first time.
look.
One to remember.
The
Moving
whole
forward,
reason-
moving forward, the things we need to do are take out the Thuldor. That's it, correct?
and bring him to the Grey Lady. She's not gonna just let him. Yeah,
I'm
they
sorry.
forgot to tell you that part. Yeah,
I didn't remember that part.
Oh, Mr. B? You gotta bring Mr. B to Miss Runelin? Oh.
So I still am unclear as to this Grey Lady, but given what I know, I'm going to decline this invitation, if it's all the same to you.
that's totally understandable.
Sure.
And
I
I
thought she
have
was
no
very
stake in this
nice.
because I would prefer to see you alive because, again, I have things I need to learn from you. I did not sign a contract with the Grey Lady, so really it's on their heads if they don't fulfill the contract.
He looks and kind of looks at all of you. So at some point, you'll need to make a decision, and relatively soon. What is it that you all plan on doing?
I prepare to cast invisibility and head back in. and sort of gesture to everyone who's willing to
With what game
come
plan? What are we doing?
straight to Kuthar's area. I have the map, and that's where we're going. That's where I'm going, at least, I guess, since contracts and liabilities and all that stuff. I've already made some stuff in the past, some agreements, and I know how they go when they're not fulfilled.
So
Okay.
all you need to do is what? Destroy the Thuldor.
Yes.
Correct.
That's some of it.
Well, maybe we could all help each other. What are your opinions on dragons? And Shay, you can see for the first time his eyes settle directly on the spot where the binder is.
I have no particular offense against dragons.
Well, how much do you know about what you hold? And he gestures to the binder.
I know enough. What's in it, though? Do you?
I do. Within that flask lies sashimi, a real dragon. He's said to be composed of liquid mercury, and he did so well against the gnomes. His specialty is fighting underground.
How was he captured?
He gestures at the iron flask that is around your neck.
Your point.
You could release him within this space. You could deal with your problem and, while you're at it, help an old friend. He smiles and gestures to himself. And as he does, the plate mail kind of locks into place. And for the first time, you see these glyphs begin to light up, very similar to Akka's, these almost calligraphy like symbols. He kind of breathes in deep. Ah, that's better.
To do this. What's the pros and cons here? What's the cons? Is the dragon gonna eat me? Are we cool because we're with you? What's the deal here?
I will, of course, tell them that you've helped a great deal. And for creatures of your type, you're with your uses. And so I'm sure we can find a place for you amongst the Skald.
Yeah. That doesn't sound too. And I kind of just like look over at the ship, the kind of prisoner ship, and be like, that kind of doesn't sit well. The phrasing of that.
Are you saying that out loud to him?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're talking like ruling class over, ages past where everyone was enslaved or at least lorded over by the dragons. I kind of like the way things are now. I don't mean to be super rude about it, but like, yeah.
He turns fully to you and kind of bends down a little bit. You're a tiefling.
Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, prejudices and all that as well, but the fact that I was able to at least carve out some kind of life for myself compared to not having an option or a choice.
But don't you feel that you should have?
I mostly did,
Who do
as
you
opposed to
care
certainly
for?
not. At least by the sound of that, what you just said.
Tiefling, who do you care for? Who matters to you?
He'll have to roll a persuasion check for that one.
Okay. That's
what,
a two.
What would I defend with on that one? Is it?
I mean, this is role play. You can just say no.
I think I'm gonna roll.
Well, my eyes are widening and my feelings are hurt with every second of hesitation, Heinrich.
This is all happening like instantaneously. Oh well, I don't think. Okay, it was a 27.
Okay. He pushes forwards and says, "If they're tieflings like you, my guess is that they are not welcome with open arms."
They're not all tieflings, no. Some of them even are right here, right now.
He looks over at Akka and kind of looks back. Well, we all make mistakes, but my point remains the same. Your people will never protected by dragons. And I'm not saying that doesn't have to be the case, but your people would be welcome as well, I'm sure.
What about mine?
I'm just feeling like if we open this thing, then this is just going to be like helping to usher in the very thing we've been working at.
The dragon on our side doesn't sound too bad.
I have no idea how to encompass or basically wrap my head around the
He
possibility of.
He kind of stands up. You see he turns and there's this far off look in his eyes and he smiles. You see the jagged teeth and he says, "You've never seen a real dragon. There is a and he has no idea that you guys.
Yeah, I know. And again, we're still not gonna open our bags.
Says you.
There's a kind of power to them, a kind of majesty that does not exist on Alberon anymore. When the Scald spanned from coast to coast, from sea to sea, Alberon was a much safer place. You all, with your kingdoms and cities and coals and clans, you are not united.
Yeah, but if the only thing that exists is dragons, that's easy to do. Right?
Well, that is not the purpose.
Go on. What's the purpose then?
As it was during the Scald's first run, we can help the... He looks around at all of you. Younger races find civilization. We can help you all come in from the dark.
You know, okay, so I'm kind of curious. Not that I'm, I believe you, but why was it trapped in the first place then if like things are so great?
The thing is, almost everybody thinks they want to be free, but they don't. They want to be safe.
Right. Cool. I've heard something similar to that a lot as well. Okay. So we have something that we need to attend to, at least those of us that signed a contract. We can mull this over, I suppose, in the meantime. That would be a very large, bold step without knowing potential consequences. That's all, I suppose.
For later.
His eyes linger for another moment on this flask, but he pulls them away. It is an idea. If you all wish to wade back into an enemy stronghold and fight against its rulers alone, that is your choice.
I know, and it does sound really cool to like ride in on a dragon, just killing them all easily.
I think you misunderstand the nature of this relationship. Sharshini would take this place because it is his, as are all places beneath the ground.
Yeah, I feel like Miss Runelin won't be too happy about that too.
At which point it is no longer our problem.
That's true. I'm gonna take out the eyeball. Miss Runelin, how do you feel about dragons?
Oh God, just
You pull out. So In the midst of this kind of tense moment, Morwen starts fishing around in her bag and pulls out this floppy eyeball stalk attached to the miner's hat. You take it out. It kind of regards you, Morwen, for a second and turns. You see the pupil kind of become a pinpoint as it looks at the Dragonborn. And then it curls up and shrivels into a black stalk and dies. And crumbles away in your hand.
That was awkward.
Why would you do that?
Yep. That wasn't very smart, Morwen.
None
Morwen's
of the
not very
things that any of you have been doing have been smart.
Enough with the fucking call-outs, kid. I'm going to say, I'm gonna say, let's get going on this. Do we want to unleash a dragon and say fuck it to the Grey Lady, and then just sort of leave this area, or do we want to try to do this stealthily, or do we want to just leave? I don't know.
These guys do we have to kill?
Yeah, you could just leave.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not. Thuldar?
Yeah. 3
left. Kuthar and then the twins. They're 3 individual people. Stop.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm 5. So
Yeah, I just got what you were laughing at. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's Kuthar
yeah.
and the. Okay.
So
These seem to be our options. Does anyone please weigh in? Because I'm not making decisions for everyone. That's it. I'm done. Never again.
If I can make a vote, I would like to leave. Obviously, my first preference is to release this dragon and set things the way that they should be. But clearly, there are reservations amongst you.
Reasonable ones, I would say, too.
I think that my vote's to kill Kuthar and the twins.
Sure.
No, you guys vote too.
I'll agree to that one.
Team
That one
vote.
seems the most straightforward. Conceptually.
Does it then just leaving?
Conceptually. Well,
Okay.
yeah. You signed a contract. The type that we did.
What happens if we don't do it?
Probably nothing good.
Analysis no.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Shay? Aka?
Locke didn't sign it.
So he still has an opinion.
I know.
My opinion is that you should have never signed a contract with the Grey Lady.
Again, with the hindsight.
I agree.
Forward motion only.
I had foresight to not sign it, and that's why, even though I'm still here,
Hanging up on it.
I don't think that there's really a good way out of this either way, because you follow through with the contract. What are you going to do with Valchrysix here?
He's free to leave.
But is he?
That part
Because
I'd
then
agree
that's
on.
breaking your contract.
It's not.
That part I'd agree on.
No, I think
He was an extra piece. He was there. If we could save him, we could use him.
Can we get
That's
the
one that I
meta?
was getting confused on.
He's like watching all of this and is like, well, I do appreciate the help. I appreciate the nod towards freedom. I don't especially intend to continue to be used.
You are free to leave.
I can try to pilot this craft. That is my intent prior to you all arriving.
You may wait for us, but some of us have things to do.
He looks across all of you and says, do any of you know how to tell time?
Underground, not so well.
He turns and looks at you, Aka. I hesitate on leaving this important task to you, but...
Are you kidding me? I'm the most competent one of this group.
I'm beginning to realize this. Could you possibly help this group keep track of 2 hours. That is how long I'll wait. At that point, I am going to leave.
I don't want to go with them. I want to stay with you. I want you to teach me.
Yes, I'm counting on that to force you to bring them back.
Every time we get stupid roped into all this stuff.
Then
Just
let's
getting
go.
dragged along. 2 hours. 3 Thuldor in 2 hours.
2 of them
One
are
of
together.
which we let go away, standing literally right in front of me.
All right, are we going?
He turns to you, Heinrich. I kind of see what you're saying about the
Thank
hindsight.
you. It's repetitive and
Well, if you
ridiculous.
had
Let's
to deal
go.
with the stupidity repetitively.
Ugh.
Let's go.
All right,
Could
invisibility.
we just turn Morwen back to... Oh, you guys just turn invisible. Oh, well.
No, I can still hear you. What's up?
Oh. I was going to suggest turning you... He's like looking kind of past your shoulder. I was going to suggest turning you back to stone and then going back to push Kuthar into the lava as you did with Arconum. He's like kind of slowly like turning and talking to like a space because he doesn't really know where any of you are.
Yeah, I kind of fear that's not just like a fail-safe situation though every time that happens. That was kind of a first time, and I think we may have been pretty lucky. It seemed like they were kind of debating like this time or not, you know. So, but you know, if all else fails, maybe we'll at least try to grab a stick and we can try again.
Very well. I'll be here.
I'm already walking.
2
Yep,
hours.
already going.
Yeah, I'm not sticking around for this banter.
I'm going to make a mental note of like, okay, starting the countdown now.
Okay.
2
Make an
hours.
intelligence. Make an intelligence check. Make it an advantage.
That's a natural 20 for a total of 25.
Doesn't matter. It's a natural 20 and counting. So yeah, you have a very accurate time. And for you, it's almost like a timer going. So you guys begin to walk through this cold kind of the smell of damp wood and ash. You begin to climb these steps again, back towards Darkholm. You hear Valkreisek sigh as you leave. There's this voice as you're already going up the stairs. One last chance. We could just leave. And it kind of echoes up the staircase. Leave, up. Very well. L. Just kind of drifts away.
I'm just standing there the whole time, not saying anything. He doesn't know. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not.
You totally
I'm not.
could.
No, I'm not. And what if I just stayed there the whole time and no one figured it
Oh,
out?
good, they're gone.
I was literally about to say. Damn.
And that echoes up the stairs. All right, I'm going to. I mean, so the map was drawn for me not too long ago, anyways.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure I can recall it.
Yeah, but you have it written down. You traced it, so
Exactly. So
without any trouble. And you can find the spot. This is on the map because you guys did walk literally past the branching point that would have led to this place.
exactly.
So you begin to climb the steps. You wind them. They grow narrower and smaller until you get to the top, and it's just a simple staircase up into this place, this kind of abandoned section of Kolarista. And as you head back into Darkholm, because it is 11:45 and a good place to stop, as you head back in, which is not what I was planning on at all.
Sure.
It'll give me a good couple of weeks to prepare for what is going to be a very interesting time. But it's 11:45, so we're going to end here for tonight. As a reminder, next week will not be a normal session of Adventures in Alberon. It will be Kobe Quest 2, a all Kobold player character continuation of Kobe Quest 1. Guest player Michael will be rejoining us. But until then, please try to stay safe out there. We'll see you next week. If you live in Massachusetts, as we all do, sign up for your vaccination lottery, giving away $5 million over the course of 5 weeks. So do that. But until then, stay safe. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.
Bye.